Sa osjećajem zadovoljstva upućujem vam izraze dobrodošlice na kongres Halal kvalitete koji se po prvi puta održava u Bosni i Hercegovini. Činim to u ime organizatora, Agencije za certificiranje Halal kvalitete, njenog direktora i vrijednih uposlenika koji su zajedno sa suorganizatorima učinili mnogo da dođemo do ovoga današnjeg dana i prilike da na dostojan i utemeljen način govorimo i slušamo o važnim temama iz područja halal certificiranja, ali i halal ishrane industrije, te stanju i perspektivama u toj oblasti u savremenom svijetu.
It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the Congress of Halal Quality, which is taking place for the first time in Bosnia and Herzegovina. I do this on behalf of the organizer, the Agency for Certification of Halal Quality, its director and diligent workers and employees who together with co-organizer made many efforts to organize today's event and to create this opportunity for us to discuss and hear about important topics from the area of halal certification and halal nutrition and industry and the state of affair and perspectives in that area in the modern world in a dignified and legitimate manner.
Zahvaljujem se ovom prilikom svim izlagačima i autorima radova na današnjem kongresu koji su došli iz udaljenih krajeva i zemalja da bi danas bili naši gosti i da bi svako na svoj način i iz vlastitoga naučnog aspekta i iskustva dali doprinos u razumijevanju i promociji halal ishrane u današnjem svijetu. Važna je to tema u svakom vremenu za svakoga onoga koji nastoji da se kreće u granicama postavljenim od uzvišenog gospodara i onoga ko želi da sebe i svoju porodicu opskrbljuje i hrani onim što je zdravo, korisno i lijepo, a što je jasno omeđeno opće poznatom i opće prihvaćenom riječju halal, koja je u potpunosti ušla u jezike svih muslimanskih naroda, ali i oni koji to nisu, zahvaljujući naučnim elaboracijama i promociji halala putem publikacija, medijskih nastupa, razgovora i pregovora sa poslovnim partnerima, ali i procesa organiziranog i zvaničnog certificiranja halal kvalitete širom svijeta.
I thank you on this opportunity. I thank to all the presenters, authors of the papers at today's Congress who came from remote places of the world and remote countries to be our guests today and who all in their own way and from their own scientific aspect and perspective contributed to understanding and promotion of the halal nutrition in the modern world. This is a very important topic in every time for everyone who wants to move within the boundaries set by our Almighty Lord and who wants to provide and supply their families with everything which is healthy, useful and nice and which is contained in a generally known and generally acknowledged term concept halal, which has become a standard in all Muslim nations and also in those which are not Muslim nations, thanks to scientific elaborations and explanations and promotion of halal through publications, media, presentations, discussions, negotiations with business partners, but also thanks to the process organized and formalized through certification of halal quality across the world.
Halal certifikacijska tijela u današnjem svijetu, na čelu sa organizacijom SMIIC, koja djeluje pri organizaciji za islamsku saradnju, učinila su mnogo po pitanju označavanja i obezbeđenja halal hrane za muslimane u čitavom svijetu, što je jako važno za njih u odnosu na njihovu pripadnost, uvjerenja i zdravlje. U isto vrijeme, halal certifikacijska tijela u savremenom svijetu učinila su jako mnogo na edukaciji čovječanstva po pitanju pojma i sadržaja halala u svakodnevnom životu i promociji života u okvirima halala na način da je pojam već odavno postao internacionalan i opće poznat i na zapadu i na istoku ove planete.
The bodies for certification of halal in the current world, headed or led by the organization SMIIC, which works with the Organization for Islamic Cooperation, have done a lot to officialize, to formalize, and to secure halal food for Muslims across the world, which is equally important for them and their belonging, their nationality, their conviction, and health. At the same time, the halal certification bodies in the modern world have done a lot on education of the humanity on the issues of halal and the concept of this term in the daily life, in promotion of life within the halal concept, in the way that this concept has long ago become an international and well-known in the West and in the East of this planet.
Zahvaljujemo se uzvišenom na svim tim i drugim postignućima koja se u nekim ranijim godinama i desetljećima nisu mogla ni zamisliti, naročito u Europi, gdje muslimani uglavnom žive kao veće ili manje manjine u odnosu na većinu stanovništva. Vjerujem i nadam se da će ovaj današnji kongres dati rezultate na znanstvenom polju, ali i na polju promocije pojma i suštine halal ishrane i halal života u još većoj mjeri i obimu, dajući priliku u budućnosti još većem broju znanstvenika i praktičara iz oblasti certificiranja te halal proizvodnje i usluga da još više doprinesu ispravnom razumijevanju i primjeni propisa o halalu među sinovima i kćerima planete Zemlje. Želim svima mnogo uspjeha i doprinosa u radu ovoga kongresa i sve najbolje u vašem životu i radu. Molim uzvišenoga za pomoć i uputu u istini i dobro. Hvala.
Excellencies, honorable participants, dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is indeed a privilege for me to address you in the Sarajevo Halal Fair and Halal Congress, which aims to contribute to the development of halal in Bosnia and Herzegovina as well as in the world. As SMIIC, we are honored to be the co-host of the Halal Quality Congress, which is organized together with the Halal Fair, and I would like to start my speech by expressing my sincere thanks to the Agency for Halal Quality Certification and other partners for their kind invitation and excellent arrangements. Distinguished guests, the world has probably never witnessed such an immediate growth of a sector like halal industry experienced. However, while it has provided an added value to the economies of the Islamic countries, this fast growth has brought along some problems and that we need to be careful in dealing with. Use of common halal standards and reliable halal certificates are one of the most challenging issues that we have been struggling to address throughout these years. Acknowledging that halal is a must for us and has put all relevant actors under the spotlight and given them a great responsibility to the shoulder. And as a SMIIC, we are one of the main actors. We develop common standards and expect them to be used and adopted in all around the world. Halal is ours, so the responsibility to provide and protect halal is also ours. In this regard, consumers, producers, certifiers, accreditation bodies, and standards organization, as well as their roles, are very essential in raising halal awareness and ensuring its continuity. SMIIC, as the only competent authority in the body of the OIC in halal field, is the umbrella bringing member states, experts, and stakeholders all together in order to prepare professional and reliable standards through a consensus-based transparent system. These standards are aimed at facilitating trade between the OIC members and at the same time ensuring the protection of the Muslim consumers by setting technical requirements and Islamic rules in all aspects of life. Honorable participants, today we are witnessing that the halal industry has become an integral part of the OIC countries' economies. Halal is now an entire ecosystem of interactive communities made up of various types of industry stakeholders, along with their physical environments, and has the capacity of contribute to the economy. And this ecosystem needs professionally developed standards to protect its integrity so that all OIC countries could benefit from. So I attach great importance to the organization of these events, enabling us to explain ourselves as well as listening different perspectives from all around the world. In particular, it is my hope the fair and congress organized by Bosnia and Herzegovina is, as one of our esteemed observers, will provide a platform for all of us to draw upon our collective wisdom, experience, ideas, proposals, and deliberations to strengthen our presence in the global halal industry. We should be constantly following our compass, working hard, and collaborate for the positive result of our joint effort. Please always remember, we can only be successful through commitment, through cooperation, and doing our job in a professional manner, following the best experiences. I thank you for your attention. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It is my great honor and pleasure to be here in this meeting. I've been to Sarajevo before, and that is a few years ago, by kind invitation from our professor and brother Mithat. Professor Mithat, I think, is one of the most energetic person in this planet, and he has managed to bring people together, and I'm very friendly. Thank you very much for all of you for organizing such a good meeting, and I'm very pleased. The introducer said that I will speak on behalf of the people who came from outside. I'm quite sure there are many people who can speak better than me, who came from that. But that is my luck, so to take the burden and speak. So, and I hope I will not, and I hope I will deliver what they deserve or what they want to say. I've been here in this country a few years ago, and I was just speaking to Dr. Ahmed. Ahmed was saying that he drank from the River Nile. And we have a say, I'm from Sudan, and we have this River Nile coming through Sudan. And we have a saying, whoever drinks from the River Nile, he must come back again. And I drank from the nice water of Sarajevo, and from all this stuff, so maybe I will come hundreds of times. So it's a great pleasure to be here. Do you want to translate or just continue? I will ask you, if you can catch something, I'm happy to.
Velika mi je čast što da mogu prisutiti ovom sastanku danas. Već sam ranije bio u sastanku prije nekoliko godina na poziv profesora Nikada. Ja mu se zahvaljujem. To je jedan široki čovjek koji vrlo rado okuplja ljude i je vrlo vješt u tome. Hvala svima na izvrsnoj organizaciji. Uvjeren sam da ću ponovo doći u Sarajevo. Spomenuo bih kako mi u Sudanu imamo jednu izraz, da kogod da se napije iz rijeke Laj, ponovo će doći u Sudan, tako isto važi za Sarajevo. Pošto sam se ponovo napio vode sa Baštašije, vjerujem da ću vrlo brzo ponovo doći u Sarajevo.
I noticed that this whole called sky. So the sky, and that is go beyond the name of the sky. So that means our limit is the sky. So when we hope, we will hope the sky. So we should not limit ourselves in this room, but I think this is a nice hall to have it. And the name it is sky, I mean that our limit is the sky, so we can do whatever. And so we shouldn't aim little. We always should aim it very, very high, up to the sky. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمْ مَا بَيْنَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Allah made it makes easier what is between the sky and the earth. So we should not limit ourselves in a very small mean, but we should expand our potential and go beyond that one. So it's very nice and a nice coincidence to have this meeting in this sky, and we should keep it all the time, so that encourages that we.
Koliko sam razumio, ova sala i ova konferencijska dvorana se naziva Sky, što znači nebo, i mislim da nam to može biti motiv da radimo po principu nebo je granica, da se ne trebamo ograničavati na neke manje i niže ciljeve, da se ne trebamo plašiti velikih izazova, da ne trebamo sebi postavljati granice i trebamo nastojati razmišljati izvan zone komfora.
Yeah, and the theme of this meet is very important. It's called Halal. My own definition of Halal is equality. It's equality for Muslim and equality for non-Muslim. So it's if you want equality, so we go for Halal. And when our certification is set and this product is Halal, and I think that should be the equality. And always we should aim for the equality. And everybody, the human being, they're looking for equality, whether they are Muslim or non-Muslim. So when we write Halal certificate, and people should immediately think this is high quality product and they should buy it.
Halal oznaka je veoma važna za kvalitet za muslimane i nemuslimane. Zato imamo halal certifikat i svako ko vidi halal certifikat mora biti uvjeren da drži proizvod koji je veoma visoke kvalitete.
And I think this meeting, I don't want to go too long, but it's a bridging between science and faith. And we have, luckily, our Mufti here, who is representing the faith, so we can learn from him in terms of faith and in terms of religion. And we have different scientists from around the world, so we mix together, bridging the faith and the science together, and so that we can have something. The Mufti will tell us this is halal and this is according to the Islam, and the scientists will say therefore this is scientifically sound. And when we bridge these two together, we have a good product for the whole humankind, not only for Muslim, but for the whole wide world.
Neću dužiti, rekao bih samo da je ovo na neki način most između nauke i vjere. Muftija je evo s nama na sreću, pa će nam on to potvrditi i objasniti. Dakle, ovim konceptom halala povezane su vjera i nauka. Muftija će nam reći da je nešto halal, a usto ćemo imati certifikat koji je naučno dokazan i to je vrlo važno ne samo za muslimane, nego i za sve ostalo.
And I think this meeting is a good opportunity for all Muslim scholars, whatever their background, whether they are scientists, whether they are regulators, whether they are religious, come together and bond together and produce something good for the humankind.
I mislim da je ovakav kongres prilika za sve muslimane, bilo da su naučnici, vjerski službenici ili da se bave bilo kojom drugom profesijom, da se okupe i da razgovaraju o ovom veoma važnom pojmu.
Lastly, I would like to thank the organizer for this wonderful meeting and to this wonderful place. And this the city is beautiful and the people are very nice, very friendly, and I'm quite sure we enjoy the science and the beauty of these people. And hopefully looking forward for more collaboration and to do a lot of work together. Thank you very much. Jazakumullah khair.
I završio bih time da bi se zahvalio organizatoru na izvrsnoj organizaciji, na ovako prekrasnom mjestu, u predivnom gradu gdje su ljudi veoma prijateljski raspoloženi i dobri i gradu Sarajevo.
Dear Congress participants, dear host and dear organizer of the Congress, I will be very short, only few sentences. First of all, I would like to greet you on behalf of the editorial board and scientific committee of the Journal and Book of Proceedings. Journal is the biggest outcome of this Congress. This will be used after Congress is finishing. Next generation can be used this journal. Also, I would like to express big grateful for all people who participate participate in making this journal and this book of proceeding, especially for editorial board, scientific board, especially for counseling, advisory committee and other institutions of the Congress, as well of the journal. In journal we have about 12 papers, as well in book of proceeding about 50 abstract, and from 80 countries from all the world. Especially I would like to express thankful for people who are coming from abroad, who are coming from different countries. It is 80 countries. It needs a long time to account, to say all for all countries. But on the end, we hope that we will cooperate in future better and better. And on the end, also I will show you, you receive everybody this kind of journal and book of proceeding. It is continual value for the future, and our children and grandchildren can use this kind of publication. And congratulations for Agency for Halal certification to make big effort, especially for people who working in this company. Evo ja ću sam reći nekoliko riječi šta sam rekao. Poštovani sudionici kongresa, dragi gosti, organizatori, želimo u ime uredništva ovog časopisa Zbornika svima da se zahvalim, pogotovo savjetu, uredništvu, znanstvenom odboru i tako dalje, i da kažem da je ovdje ukupno prisutno oko 50 sažetaka iz 18 država, ne možemo ih sve nabrojati, i evo tu su većina prisutni. I što sam zaboravio reći, vrlo važni ima imena iz oblasti halala u svijetu, oni su došli ovdje i predstavit će se tokom ovog kongresa. I forget to say that several very important names from the world in the halal science came here in Sarajevo, and they will represent with their speech today and tomorrow during the Congress. Hvala još jednom svima koji su došli, evo ja sam malo improvizao, bio sam napisao, sam improvizao, bude i kraće. Hvala najljepša i želim vam ugodan boravak ovdje u Sarajevu i ugodan rad. Thank you.
Poštovani predstavnici zakonodavne i izvršne vlasti, uvaženi predstavnici Islamske zajednice, cijenjeni autori i koautori radova, poštovani članovi organizacijskog odbora, dragi gosti. Zaista mi je velika čast i zadovoljstvo poselamiti i pozdraviti sve vas ovdje prisutni u ime akademske zajednice, dva fakulteta koji su suorganizatori ovog kongresa, a to su Tehnološki fakultet Univerziteta u Tuzli i Fakultet islamskih nauka u Sarajevu. Ono što želim da kažem i da poručim sa ovoga mjesta jeste da će akademska zajednica uvijek rado učestvovati u organizaciji i suorganizaciji ovakvih i sličnih skupova i dati svoj puni doprinos.
Dear representatives of legislative and executive authorities, dear representatives of the Islamic community, dear authors and co-authors of papers, dear members of the organizational board, dear guests. It is indeed a great honor and pleasure to welcome and greet you all on behalf of the academia of the two faculties who are co-organizer of the Congress on the halal quality, and these are the Technological Faculty of the University in Tuzla and the Faculty of the Islamic Science of the University in Sarajevo. My point is, and I want to send a message from this place, that the academic community will always be eager to participate in organization and co-organization of this kind and similar gatherings and to provide its full contribution.
Otvoreni smo za saradnju u vidu pisanja naučnih radova, davanju stručnih i naučnih mišljenja, izradi studija i elaborata, korištenju i zajednički rad u našim laboratorijama, kao sve ostalo što je u našem domenu. O važnosti i značaju ovog skupa dovoljno govori i broj zemalja koji su uzeli učešća, kao i broj radova koji ćemo imati priliku da čujemo u ova 2 dana. I još jedna potvrda, ovome je i sve veća svijest konzumenata o važnosti halal proizvoda i sve veći broj kompanija koje imaju ili uvode certifikate, halal certifikate.
We are open for cooperation in form of writing scientific works, providing professional opinions and scientific opinions, in developing studies and elaborates, using and working together in laboratories, as well as anything else which is in our domain. The number of the countries which participate in this gathering also speaks sufficiently about the importance of this gathering, as well as the number of papers and presentations we will be in a position to hear during these 2 days.
Ja moram ovom prilikom da budem zaista subjektivan i da kaže da je puno ovoga upravo krenulo sa Tehnološkog fakulteta iz Tuzle. Ja koristim ovu priliku da se svima, onima koji su učestvovali u ovome, zahvalim. Još jednom čestitam organizacionom odboru u uspješnoj organizaciji kongresa, a svima nama uspješan rad u toku ova 2 dana. Hvala.
The growing awareness among the consumers about the importance of halal products is another confirmation of what I have just said, and the growing number of the companies which possess or introduce the halal certificate. I should be a little biased and say that a lot has begun just at the technological faculty of the University in Tuzla. I use this opportunity to thank the individuals for their contribution publicly, and once again I congratulate the organizational board for successful organization of the Congress. And I wish you all a lot of success during these 2 days.
We would like to thank Professor Dr. Sad Čatić. The Islamic community in Bosnia and Herzegovina has demonstrated a profound understanding of the significance of systematic and institutional measures in regulating the halal industry and market. They have consistently extended their support in this domain. On behalf of the Islamic community in Bosnia and Herzegovina, we are honored to have the distinguished presence of Dr. Vakit Fazlović, Mufti of Tuzla, who serves today as the envoy of the Grand Mufti at today's event.
Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, wa salatu wa salamu ala sayyidina wa nabiyina Muhammedin wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Uzvišeni stvoritelj svjetova se ljudskom rodu obraća sljedećim riječima: Esta'id billah, ja ejuhan nasu kulu mimma fil ardi halalan tayyiba wa la tattabi'u khutuwati shaytan innahu lakum aduwwun mubin. O ljudi, jedite od onoga što ima na zemlji, što je dozvoljeno i lijepo, i ne slijedite šeitanove stope, jer vam je on neprijatelj očevidni. Ja ejuhalladina amenu, kulu min tayyibati ma razaqnakum, veškuru lillahi in kuntum iyyahu ta'budun. O vjernici, jedite ukusna jela koja smo vam podarili i budite Allahu zahvalni da vi se samo njemu klanjate.
poštovani direktor Agencije za certificiranje halal kvalitete, doktore Ali Hodžiću, poštovani predsjedniče Upravnog odbora, doktore Hatuniću, cijenjeni uredniče, doktore Jašiću, uvaženi znanstvenici, autori naučnih radova, studija, dragi gosti i prijatelji, assalamu alaikum wa rahmetullahi wa barakatuh, i neka su Božji mir i blagoslovi na sve vas.
Addressing humans, the ultimate creator said, O humanity, eat from what is lawful and good on the earth and do not follow Satan's footsteps. He is truly your sworn enemy. O believers, eat from the good things we have provided for you and give thanks to Allah and truly worship Him alone. Dear Director of the Agency for Certification of the Halal Quality, Dr. Ali Hodžić, dear President of the Management Board, Dr. Hatunić, dear Editor-in-Chief, Dr. Jašić, dear authors of the papers, dear guests and friends, God, peace and blessings.
Iznimna mi je čast i zadovoljstvo biti u prilici sve vas poselamiti i pozdraviti, prenijeti vam selame Resul Uleme Islamske zajednice u Bosni i Hercegovini, doktora Huseina Efendije Kavazovića, i poželjeti vam uspješan rad. Posebne čestitke upućujem Agenciji za certificiranje halal kvalitete u Bosni i Hercegovini, kao i njenim partnerima, Fakultetu islamskih nauka u Sarajevu, Tehnološkom fakultetu u Tuzli, na organizaciji i pripremi prvog kongresa ove vrste u Bosni i Hercegovini.
It is a great honor to have an opportunity to convey greetings to all of you from the Grand Mufti of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Dr. Husein Efendija Kavazović, and to wish you successful work. Special congratulations to the Agency for Certification of Halal Quality in Bosnia and Herzegovina and its partners, the Faculty of Islamic Science in Sarajevo and the Technological Faculty in Tuzla, for organization and arrangements and preparation of this Congress of this type in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
U svim periodima povijesti Islama poklanjana je posebna pažnja narativu o halalu i njegovom značaju u životu muslimana. Poštivanje pravila o halalu i haramu izraz je pokornosti imperativima uzvišenoga Boga. Pravila dozvoljenoga i zabranjenoga halala i harama u svojoj celokupnosti predstavljaju svojevrstan zaštitni mehanizam u životu pojedinaca i društva pod uvjetom da se dosljedno primjenjuju. Zanemarivanjem objavljenih vrijednosti i pravila i težnjom za multipliciranje materijalnih vrijednosti, ovovremeni čovjek teško postiže duševni mir i teško dostiže ulogu Allahovog namjesnika na zemlji.
Historically, the Islam has particularly focused on the narrative on halal and its importance in the lives of Muslims. Following the rules of halal and haram is an expression of obedience to the commandments of the divine God. The rules of what is allowed and what is forbidden, halal and haram, in their entirety constitute a sort of a protection mechanism in the life of individuals and society, provided that they are applied consistently. A modern man who disregards declared values and rules and seeks to multiply material assets has difficulties to achieve his peace of mind and can hardly play the role of Allah's regent on the earth.
Islamska zajednica u Bosni i Hercegovini radom svojih organa i ustanova u skladu s konstitutivnim izvorima Islama i osebujnom tradicijom osigurava muslimanima u Bosni i Hercegovini i Bošnjacima izvan njenih granica pravilno razumijevanje Islama i islamskih propisa. Naši istaknuti alimi u različitim islamskim disciplinama skoro 6 stoljeća tumače islamske propise, među kojima posebno mjesto pripada propisima o halalu i haramu, dozvoljenom i zabranjenom.
The Islamic community in Bosnia and Herzegovina, through the activities of its bodies and institutions, in accordance with the constitutive sources of the Islam and rich tradition, ensures for Muslims in Bosnia and Herzegovina and Bosniaks beyond the borders of Bosnia and Herzegovina to correctly understand the Islam and the Islamic regulations. Our distinguished Islamic scholars in different Islamic disciplines for nearly 6 centuries have been interpreting the Islamic regulations, and among them the particularly focus on the regulations on halal and haram, permitted and forbidden.
Rezultat ove višestoljetne predanosti misiji Islama i djelovanju među muslimanima u Bosni i Hercegovini zaseban je duhovno-moralni habitus muslimana. To se prepoznaje i u kulturi ishrane kao i općenito odnosom prema halalu.
A specific spiritual and moral habitus of Muslims is the result of this multi-century commitment to the mission of the Islam and activities focusing on the Muslims in Bosnia and Herzegovina. This is recognized in their nutrition and generally in their attitude to halal.
Osnivanjem Agencije za certificiranje halal kvalitete 2006. godine ustanove islamske zajednice sa sjedištem u Tuzli načinjen je značajan iskorak jer se afirmiranju halala pristupilo s aspekta nauke, struke, certificiranjem proizvoda i usluga i edukacijom i savjetovanjem u halalu. Već skoro 2 decenije Agencija za certificiranje halal kvalitete predano ukazuje na značaj poštivanja islamskih propisa ishrane i njihove primjene u životu muslimana i svih ljudi radi njihove mnogostruke dobrobiti.
The establishment of the Agency for Certification of Halal Quality back in 2006, which is an institution of the Islamic community with a seat in Tuzla, was a major breakthrough because it ensured a scientific, professional approach to promotion of halal through certification of products and services and education and counseling on halal. The Agency for Certification of Halal Quality has been zealously stressing the importance of compliance with the Islamic dietary laws and their application in the life of Muslims and all people for multiple benefits.
Agencija za certificiranje halal kvalitete danas je globalno poznata ustanova, aktivno i dosljedno ostvarujući svoju misiju, prepoznata je kao jedan od vodećih centara u Europi za certificiranje halal kvalitete. To ova ustanova potvrđuje i ovogodišnjim izuzetno značajnim i uspješnim aktivnostima od kojih izdvajamo održavanje sedmice svjesnosti o halalu, sudjelovanje u organizaciji 3. Sarajevo Halal sajma, promocije vlastitog izdanja pod naslovom Halal kvalitet, koncept i standardizacija, prve publikacije ove vrste kod nas, a posebno ističemo organiziranje kongresa o halal kvaliteti, prvog međunarodnog naučnog skupa u Bosni i Hercegovini o pitanjima halala. Ovaj prestižni naučni skup, za čije održavanje ste svi vi, poštovani istraživači, naučnici, veoma zaslužni, predstavlja i veliki uspjeh islamske zajednice u Bosni i Hercegovini.
The Agency for Certification of Halal Quality is today a globally known and recognized institution. It has actively pursued and accomplished its mission, and it has been recognized as one of the leading centers in Europe for certification of halal quality. This institution confirmed this by organizing today's important and successful activities, including a week of awareness on halal, participation in the organization of the 3rd Sarajevo Halal Fair, promotion of its own edition entitled Halal Quality, Concept and Standardization, the first publication of this kind in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I should particularly stress the organization of the Congress on Halal Quality, which is the first international scientific gathering in Bosnia and Herzegovina to discuss the issues of halal. This prestigious scientific gathering, which will be held thanks to you, dear researchers and scientists, is also a major success of the Islamic community in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Kongres o halalu je prilika da se proces certificiranja proizvoda dodatno analizira i valorizira od strane eminentnih učenjaka koji se bave fenomenom halala u različitim znanstvenim oblastima. Islamske nauke, pravo, ekonomija, medicina, veterina, farmakologija, ekologija i tehnologija proizvodnje hrane u Bosni i Hercegovini i širom svijeta.
The Congress on Halal is an opportunity to further analyze the certification process and to valorize by eminent scholars and scientists this phenomena on on the halal in different scientific areas such as the Islamic science, law, economy, medicine, veterinary medicine, pharmacology, ecology, technology, and food production in Bosnia and Herzegovina and across the world.
Vjerujemo da će ovaj cijenjeni naučni skup i njegovi rezultati kao pisane publikacije doprinijeti potpunijem razumijevanju i primjeni pravila o halalu, te da će otvoriti nove mogućnosti i perspektive.
We do believe that this distinguished scientific conference and the results of this conference, which will be a written publication, will contribute to a better understanding and the application of the rules on halal, and it will open new opportunities and perspectives.
Islamska zajednica u Bosni i Hercegovini će nastaviti pratiti i pružati podršku aktivnostima na planu promocije halala i certificiranja halal proizvoda u Bosni i Hercegovini, zemljama regije i u svijetu.
The Islamic community in Bosnia and Herzegovina will continue providing support to the activities on the level to promotion of the halal and certification of the halal products in Bosnia and Herzegovina, the countries in the region and across the world.
Molimo Allaha uzvišenog da primi naše iskrene namjere i djela i da nam na putu časnog života u okvirima pravila njegove vjere bude stalni pomagač.
We pray to Allah Almighty to acknowledge our honest intentions and action and to be our aid on the path of an honorable life and within the rules of His belief.
Neka vam je hajil i beričetan rad. Selam alaikum.
I wish you a successful and fruitful work.
All over the world, this system will help to be unified in halal based on single standards and one-time certificate and accept everywhere. This is the OIC policy. A short degree for you during my presentation. In outline, I will talk about OIC shortly and then SMIIC and the OIC Global Halal Quality Infrastructure, and then shortly about Islamic rules in our standards, which type rules we are reflecting to the standards. And then shortly I will introduce our standards on halal issues and will conclude. The OIC, well known by majority of your side, the second largest intergovernmental organization after the United Nations, is established in September 1969 first for the Quds issues. Now these organizations have a similar structure like United Nations, many organizations, affiliated institutions, etc., has 57. One is suspended, 56, 7, because Syria is still not in the active. The OIC also collected voice of all Muslim world and ensuring the safeguard and protect the interests of Muslim world. This is the shortly OIC. When back to SMIIC, what is SMIIC? Shortly to introduce this organization. SMIIC is established by international law. First, there is an international law as the opponent to the signature and the ratification procedure of the countries. SMIIC established by the governments of the OIC. In OIC, two types of organizations they have. One is already there is organization can be affiliated, or an organization can be established based upon this international agreement. SMIIC is one of them. This type, OIC has 5-6 organizations, but affiliated nearly 100 organizations they have. We are a technical institution, as I said, affiliated to OIC, and recognized as an international organization, and has a diplomatic status in Turkey, officially established in August 2010, our headquarters in Istanbul. We are not giving majority question, are you going to do any accreditation or certification? We are not giving any certification, we just preparing the own standards for all Muslims and regulations. Main objective is summarized here to prepare all type standards, but our priorities on the halal standards. I will show you later. And the second group for the objectives, we achieve uniformity in standardization, metrology and testing facilities. How will be unified? How will be single in this sector, this area. And we are for the technical assistance to the member states, like in Africa, especially in some Asia countries, need a lot of helps. We organize a technical program for them. And then last, not least, but this is very important, to establish a conformity assessment scheme. But it means how you certified, how you be accredited based on standards. This scheme, scheme means if you're part of this scheme, you will be recognized among yourself, the other sister organizations. Now we are, last 3 years, we are working this scheme. Alhamdulillah, we are going to be, and inshallah, in November this year, our General Assembly will be organized in Mecca region, Jeddah or Mecca. All our members and observers invited. Then we announce another launchment for new organization for this scheme. This will be Islamic Forum for Halal accreditation bodies, namely short name IFHAB IFHAB. Is already recognized by OIC, but still the document and regulation not ready. I think during this 4 months, all documentation will be ready, statute, etc. This organization will be umbrella of the accreditation bodies, like ILAB in international organization. Before Emirate established IHAF, but there is, as you know, majority is from non-Muslim countries, but not enough support from many countries, especially the countries like Turkey, like Tunisia, etc., Malaysia is against this system. Still is an agenda, but this is not like an international organization, not recognized by the OIC. This organization, IFHAB, established as an affiliated and in Jeddah or Mecca, you will see. We have 47 members, 3 of them is observers. Observer means coming from the OIC observers. If your country is observed to OIC, only can be observed in the SMIIC, that reason Russian Federation, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and our lovely countries, Thailand, is our observers. We have vision, we can read anywhere. This is our mission, our strategic plan for 10 years, just showing. And also, that we can share my presentation with the groups. Here is the very important issues for standards. In each certification bodies, go to the certified, they use, you have to need a document. What's your reference document? You are checking or controlling the company, called what? When you go to CBs, Halal certification bodies, everybody says they have standards. But majority of them, before, in Turkey especially, is created or prepared by the owner of the company. Today he says this is halal, tomorrow he says this is not halal. Today I will check this one, tomorrow I will check not this one. Because of the company understanding. We say this is not standard, this is company document or company standards. For example, you have the Mercedes have its standards, not the other cars same. This is Mercedes standards. Cannot use for all cars. This type is company standards, not the cannot be international. Malaysia has a standard. This is standards, national standards, but in the recognition system, we see in Malaysia, majority of the recognized by the Malaysia not using the Malaysian standards. MUI or Indonesia in the list, Indonesia using their own system. In Turkey, 2 companies in the list. These 2 companies have their own system. It means it's not international one. But Malaysia is, alhamdulillah, very famous. When we go to talk about halal, we can say, oh, Malaysia is well. But just for Malaysia. Nothing for us, nothing for other countries. That is standards, a document prepared by consensus. Consensus means all stakeholders, universities, consumers, researcher, individual, government organization, everybody should be part of. If you prepare a document in home, or prepare one expert, one professor, it's not the standards. you have to take all stakeholders, all CBs, have one day per page. Second, recognized by authorized body. Recognized body. Who is the recognized body? International organizations, like SMIIC, like ISO, like another organization. If not recognized by it means it is a public document. After recognition, recognize this document, this is the document of all humanity. Now in the country, they say Malaysian standards, Turkish standards. They belong to this country. The standard should be used by everybody. And same standard should be used, if they say standard. This international terminology, but in the halal sector, is unfortunately using the wrong thing. And then it should be common. Common means should be used by everybody. Same criteria, same technique, same question, the same auditing, etc. And then standards have to be voluntary because of the technology of in Islamic fatwa changing, etc. If you standards like religious book, you will lose everything. Standards not holy document, but includes many fatwas, many religious concrete issues like ayah, like hadith, like other fatwas. They are considered this one. These standards, these stakeholders, as I say, from government, NGO, etc. If you have this one, you have standards. Now, not easy to. That's just a sample when we started in OIC, 2008. Brother Amir is here. We invite all OIC and all Muslim community in all over the world. Each meeting we have more than 100 delegates. 3 years we discuss, not easy. You have to look common understanding, common results, and sometimes a knife, steel or stainless steel, take 10 hours. Each delegate bring their culture, their understanding, or their belief. When go to the slaughtering, Qurbani times, we have many ceremonies. That's very holy for us, but in the commercial platform, if you cannot say same thing for the like Qurban time or Eid al-Adha, prepare and make du'as and group, people want to bring like this one. Yeah. Standards really not easy. That reason we need a quality infrastructures. Quality infrastructure means all country has a structured standards bodies or authorized. For example, in Thailand example, they have normal national standards bodies. But this authority, or for halal issues, recognize Halal Institute or Halal Standards Organization. This is one of the methods. For example, in Turkey, we have two types of accreditation. One is for normal accreditation. One is Halal Accreditation Agency. Turkish government authorized halal, I think, just for halal issues. Right. This is the approach of country. An organization can do same thing, or for halal you want to separate because you need special experts. We have to have religious authority, we have to many people in the halal studies, halal standards education. That reason, this is a system of international normal life, normal structure. This is each country has a system like this. They have national standard bodies, national Metrology Institute. This system reflect the countries. When they reflect, many of them use the same terminology. For example, in Turkey, we have National Metrology Institute. This is copied from the international practice. If you don't have national Metrology Institute, you cannot have a measurement. You cannot. What is kilo for your country? What is meter for you? You have to have. What standards you have to have? Otherwise, you cannot do trade. You cannot make a condition. This is all three public area: national standards, metrology, and accreditation, public by the government side. But the others is free market. Can be governmental, can be private sector, can be university, can be any research center. What is this? Certification, inspection, testing, calibration. This is for the private sector, especially doing this area. This all of them should have should work according to standards, national standards or international standards. If you have to make trade, you have to have international standards. For the European Union, if you a country one of the union members, there's a 23 chapter. First chapter is about the trade or commercial, and the first questions you have to have quality infrastructure. What is it? Standards. What is it? Accreditation. What is it? Metrology, and then others. Otherwise, you cannot be part of the union, custom union, because they have to control the product, etc., etc. This is the reality. I go to Halal. Halal, not just a religious side, because there's a products. Many products is similar. This product need the control, etc. This is in the old world. In the OIS system, we have standards. Certification should do according to standards, and accreditation also the pillar of the system. This is our OIC Global Halal Quality Infra, as mentioned. Nearly 4 years in the SMIIC Board of Directors and General Assembly, we studied. The owner of proposed this Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, our chairman of Board of Directors, bring this idea to platform. This is similar to, as I showed you before, the international quality infrastructure. We change the name Global Halal Quality. Why we say global? Not for only OIC countries. The system for all Muslims. American can be part. When they can be part, certification level. All be active in standards. How they become active? Like experts, we have experts from America, Mian, one of the experts. The Sabir from England. They cannot be members, but we are taking the expertising to activities for standards, site and conference. Accreditation and upper is belong to government. We are a regional organization as a OIC. The other members should be stopped here. English accreditation bodies or Spanish or other countries cannot be because of the halal issues. They will decide on halal. If you are not believe in something, how will you decide? However, because of why we need halal? Because of the non-believers we are doing this one. Because of the game thrown against Muslim, we need halal certificate. Otherwise, we are Muslim, we have to produce halal issues, halal products. If you are a Muslim, I am producing non-halal issues, I'm not Muslim. I'm big sin, big mistake for me. And then the other one, as I said, I new terminology, maybe. As I said, it will be designated structure, mutual recognition will be managed under this organization, everything professionally done by the country sides. For the observers, they didn't decide yet. Observer will be member or not. I think should be member because of trade, like European Union. Now they have 28 countries or limited countries. But go to the accreditation, they have more than nearly 40 countries because of the custom union. Turkey is not member of the European Union, but in the infrastructure, accreditation, other standards, Turkistan is a member of the SMIIC. Our Turkey is member of European accreditation. Same system can be done for the observers of the SMIIC in accreditation. Maybe Bosnia and Russia or our brother Thailand may push on this them. We have to be there. There's a similar, because we are talking about trade. There's a shortly this. You already know I know it about this there. Only the problem with the halal, confusion with halal, recognition system, accreditation basin. Each recognition just serve a country. As I said to Malaysia example, if Turkey has, then you go to now the African countries started. The same, they're copying, they think, for any, go to Tanzania, any countries, they want to see them like a Jakim or another one. You see, Jakim is a country doing, why I'm not doing? They want to establish a recognition system, this. There's all bring any barriers. We have to stop this one. Our issues from the benefit of this system, from the customer needs, from the requirements to the end user, you will have a joint standard, single standards, inspection time, manufacturing time, etc. etc. End of the day, customer will have 100% satisfaction. As a result of this issue, this recognition, there will be traceability, real traceability. You can check who is doing wrong. Because any accreditation bodies or certification bodies, because all products have a codes, have a system. Each certification body has a code number. There is a big real traceabilities, and then the consumer will trust on halal. Now our problems, we are not trusting the halal logos. When the street we are seeing, I was in Geneva, they put halal. I'm saying, why? What they will eat? I mean, it was Turkish. Second day, I went to inside, before I outside, I saw the pork in the refrigerator. I say, you say halal? Why are you saying that? Just for the Arabs, for others. Why? You are not doing halal here. Well, first, I mean, sorry. Every time the stone is coming from your side, your Turkish side. Sorry, Mian gave me half of him. Mutual recognition will be done, and we will have a full professional and establish a trustworthy system, and the technical barrier, inshallah, will be diminished. This is all about systems. SMIIC, shortly I will give. We have three main activities like accreditation, standardization, metrology. We have councils. These councils are managed by the countries, not from our side. We are just secretariat. The accreditation council is responsible for, as I said, establishing a system for recognition. Metrology for scientific area for halal metro, halal laboratories, how can we establish halal laboratories, etc. They are studying and training like this. Standards, our main job. We have committees, we have council. Our standards, nickname, short name is OIC SMIIC, because we are doing for all OIC countries. A country not member of SMIIC, but this we are also doing for them. They can use it. We have technical committees. Each committee, like international organizations, has a title, scope, work program, business plan. But here we need real experts who has research in international, their labs, their faculties, or their companies, because we need their expertise to reflect the standards, extreme technical area. Also religious parts is very important. How many minutes I use?
Not the case for us. Try out. We already done. But I think if you can do
all committees according to the rules are approved by our board and general assemblies. There is a process for technical rules and procedure, how you prepare standard, from how you put comma, how you say shell or wheel or mass, etc. Because in standard we have a different language. You cannot say in the daily life. If you say mass, not important in standards. Shell is very important, but in daily life, shell should like advice. But in standards, it means must complement. We have a conformity assessment committee. We have 17 committees, halal issues, like halal food issues, halal cosmetic, etc. Can find on our website. Each standard starts as a project-based. If you have a dream, if you want to have something standardized for the humanity, for the Muslim, for your country, the platform is open. Anyone can propose, and then committee will decide. We will discuss. Each standard take a process from the stage, from proposal, preparatory, committee work, country is working here, and then go to the voting going to all members, and the result, if you have not reached the fourth level of the consensus, we are saying like elections, yes, no elections as a result. Everything is done under the information system, we are secured. Till now we have 50 56 standards. 30 of them are prepared by our committees. 26 are adapted from the Tennis Organization. We have 20 halal issue standards. Just shortly show you and then I'll finish. One issue, which halal rules, Islamic rules coming from where? We only reflect Islamic Academy's fatwa standards or generally accepted by everybody's rules. But in our committee there is expert from the academy and each country bring ulama or their religious experts to the meeting. If there is still controversial issues or something need the fatwa, new issues, we are officially sent to the OIC. OIC, Mr. Sabe, OIC organization, Sabe is a member of them. They discuss in detail 150, 200 experts all over the world coming and discuss issues. Finally, in 2-3 years, they are reaching a fatwa, not easy. But very important issue is the fatwa from academy. I just say accreditation should be done, owned by and directed by Muslims. Only certification bodies shall be owned and directed by Muslim. This is the fatwa. If anyone, SGS or another one, try to halal it, you should be stop them. It is not your responsibility. And for yourself, for your family, for your small company, you can do it. But for the public, for the market, they shouldn't. Because they are not Muslims. Owned is not Muslims. You have to be sure. Financial tie, and many parties there. These are our standards. Generally, these 3 standards were developed by Amir Sakic 3 years. As I said, originally coming from the YC, then SMIIC established, they sent to us after nearly 8 years. We revised, discussed, and radical change has done. All standard has international references because we are cannot be outside the international. When you have a products, you have to know the codex rules, you have to know the international standards, trade rules. These are our standards list. Just show you. I'm going to conclusion. Sorry, co-chairs. SMIIC standards are the result of common study and achievement of wise members and is part through the technical committees. SMIIC is a common platform set of all stakeholders. We are asking to all countries and request from them to send all sectors, not stay with the organization members. And then wise halal standard, a common standard for all Muslims, for Muslim world, not for the OIC only, and all interested parties. Thank you very much. Give me a chance, and sorry for the take a lot of time.
I think it's our next speaker is Professor Mian Riza. He's going to talk about hidden haram ingredient. Professor is coming from Texas A&M University. He written lots of books and papers in this subject, so he's a well authority in the field. He wants to talk about hidden. Inshallah, he makes this hidden visible for us, so that we can avoid haram things.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I'd like to thank you everybody for coming listening. We will change that. They will move here from standards to go a little more technicals. And I was able to talk about a little bit haram ingredients in that food. What are that? Therefore, I'm going to talk about what are these hidden ingredients. Sometimes they call processing aid. Just to make sure that these hidden ingredients and processing aid does not come on the label. You do not find them on the label of the food. If they are hidden, or they call them sometimes processing aid. And then what are the sources? Why we use processing aid or hidden ingredients, and some example, and then we end up with some of that guidelines what to do with that one. First of all, why we even use that, our processing aid or hidden ingredients? It's just because we see a lot of processed food nowadays. Everybody eats processed food, and therefore it helps us to make the shelf life better, taste better. It helps us to do a processing better. And you can see the shelf, which is filled with all the food. They have used some kind of processing aid or hidden ingredients that are making them tasty, don't get stale, and they are basically fresh. After even 5 days, the bread you see it, and this smells good, and basically sometimes the hidden ingredients may not be halal. That's my point is. Therefore, what's the definition of that? There's 3 different scenarios FDA and USDA do that. Number 1 is that we use a processing aid that when you add something during the processing, and then you can remove back. Because this is just like example I gave you activated charcoal. We talk more detail. We added it during the process, making some juices or something, and then we remove that one. The second is that we use some minor ingredients like salt to adjust the pH, okay, and that become part of that whole recipe, but it's very, very minor, okay. It does not significantly add anything other than just changing that condition. The third one is that we add during processing, which will remain in the food, but so minor that FDA said, USDA said, you do not need to label it. Therefore, basically, it becomes part of the whole your recipe, but it's not coming on the label. There was 3 times. Number 1, you add it, you remove it. Number 2, you add it, it becomes part of that. Number 3, and very minor, just changing the configuration a little bit. The third one is that it is in the finished good, but it's very, very minor amount that we have there. Therefore, why we use that? What's the aid? What's the processing? What's the function of that? Why would a food industry use a hidden ingredient? It basically sometimes help to reduce the potential contamination during processing. Example is, you can see here is the microbials that if you can see here, we're spraying some of that antimicrobial things so that Muslims make sure they are eating halal food. With that, thank you very much, and happy to answer question maybe later on. I don't think this time now. We will discuss that. Thank you very much.
Thank a lot, Professor Riaz, for these technical and very complex issues in halal studies. I think these every issues also presentation of General Secretary Ihsan Bey. Also, I think these issues are very complicated. I think every of them requires a separate conference, because firstly, the General Director, General Secretary Ihsan Bey illuminated the studies and works of SMIIC. SMIIC is unique because it is really unique in OIC. I think there is no other equivalence of it. I think we need to understand much better of their studies and their works up to now. Again, thank you for your complex presentation. I think we need to have separate conference on all these chemical issues for processing.
Okay, we have our next speakers. One of my good friend, Dr. Vinay from Thailand. He's the founder of the Halal Institute in the Thailand. He's a pioneer in the halal testing. He has excellent lab. If you have not visited his lab, you need to go visit it. It's one of the best I have seen so far for halal testing and also for the halal, all the information. And he has done a lot of work in halal areas. And with that, he's going to give a talk on basically halal standardization system integrated with a chemical database and blockchain for halal quality. Dr. Vinay.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank organizing committee for inviting me to participate in this very nice discussion. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala arafin nabiyyin wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May we have a slide?
We have a next slide, please.
I'm from Thailand. Thailand is a non-Muslim country, just a minor of Muslim are present in my country, only 5 to 7% of the population. Okay.
Can you make it
Can
PowerPoint?
yes, yes. Full screen.
It's PDF.
I have a PowerPoint here. PDF, sorry.
Come on.
And if you have the opportunity to visit Thailand, don't forget that to visit Chulalongkorn University from the first university ever in Thailand. Not so old like many universities in Europe, just 106 years of age. We're going to celebrate the Halal Science Center under my supervision, 20 years of it for this year. Okay, my presentation on the Halal standardization system integrated with the chemical database and blockchain for Halal quality assurance integrity. I'm the founding director of the Halal Science Center. I'm also the vice chairman of the Central Islamic Council of Thailand. I have a surah hat for that. Everybody here know about the soft power. Soft power in Thailand now is so popular. You know Thai food, Muay Thai, Thai massage, and anything. Still many, but we try from our institute to integrate Halal science into this kind of soft power in order to make the people have a trust on our product of Halal. This is Chulalongkorn University in Bangkok. The budget is come from the cabinet resolution on 20 years ago. 20 years ago, in order to have the science and technology to back up the Halal certification in Thailand. Before that, 10 years before that, I established a Halal laboratory in Chulalongkorn University, and then finally the government grant us the budget for establishing the Halal Science Center in Chulalongkorn University. We have now 4 offices in the country, in the north, in the south, also in Bangkok, and in the suburb of Bangkok. The role of the Halal scientist is not only for the laboratory. You may see the whole supply chain from the raw material preparation until to the hand of the consumer. There's many roles. For example, the draft of the standard. This role of the scientist also. Find a replacement for mushroom or doubtful ingredient. Also the role of the Halal scientist. And something that's very important that Mr. Esan Owen mentioned is about the standard. The standard is just a document. Very important how to implement the standard into the practice in the factory. This is we call Halal standardization. This is then I try to show you how we work in Thailand in order to implement the standard into the factory And we have to instruct the labor and the working people there. They are non-Muslim. They are non-Muslim. And then they have to understand well how to implement the standard into their manufacturing process. Then you see this is, we produce several platform for that. This is our laboratories, have the ISO IC 12025 2017. This is one of the highest quality of the laboratory in Thailand. You see, we have altogether 200 state-of-the-art equipment. Then we have 50 scientists, all Muslim, 7 PhD, and until now we provide the service for 188,731 analysis for the food product. And then finally we use this as a database to develop something that we call H number. I will show you. This is, we provide many techniques. Then you see we also have one chapter together with Dr. Mian Riyad in the halal food production from Ivanka. Yeah. This is the technique that developed for multiplex halal animal analysis. We just received one award from Malaysia. Dr. Anas, he invented this technique for strip test and got the award from Malaysia just last week, international award. This is our technique that we developed in the Halal Science Center. This is also the technique. Then the SMIIC sent our scientists, 2 of our scientists, to give some training in Africa. We developed a new technique for gelatin as determination. Yeah, this is a technique that we already have some role together with the SMIIC for propagation of our technique to other scientists. This is how we plan for the algorithm, I may say. This is haram-free authentication of raw material. We separate our role with the ulama. Ulama something in the operation room, ulama something like a surgeon. We just a nurse. We give the right tool to the surgeon. We never give fatwa. We are scientists. Then we have to prepare, from the raw material. You may see from the raw material. Then we check whether it's haram. If not, then we go further. If yes, we check if there is a halal certified from the Trust Islamic organization. If yes, they go this way. If no, they go for the haram checking through document or through related personnel, right? If finally still no, because there's some doubtful for that, we send to the lab. We not go to the lab directly at the beginning because it's too expensive. Then we check from the document first, from the personnel involved. And then from the laboratory, we check for the haram screening with the optimized technique. We provide several services for DNA, fatty acid profile, alcohol, protein, gelatin, etc. With 200 equipment that we have in our laboratory. Until finally, if we check there is no haram, then we let it prove by ulama. We don't say this is okay, no haram, then it's halal. No. We send and then discuss with the ulama until we have a final solution. This is halal, then we can make it tablet into our book that we call H number. Dr. Anas, can you give me? This is the first ever H number book that we developed from our laboratory, but it's still too thin. We need a collaboration from the scientists from other countries in order to make it thicker. Yeah, and from this we go to the blockchain. We develop non-fungible token NFT. Now we are developing the NFT. This is how to produce H number. This is all raw material. Then we found that 320 ingredients among 348 from E number. Yeah, you all know E number. They are from European. Yeah, from E number, but it's not clear whether it's halal or haram. As Dr. Nian Ria said, even we see E number, we know where it's from, where it derived from some chemical or some ingredient, but we don't know the halal status of that ingredient. Then we check, whether it's halal or mashbuh, suspicious or haram. And we found 8% is haram, and 36% is mashbuh, and 56% halal. Then from halal, we go to the tabulation of the H number. If it's mashbuh, try to clarify the halal status. Try to clarify, as I mentioned in my algorithm. Yeah, and if it's haram, then this is we need the research in order to find the replacement for that haram. And then this is we work for that. Some go to the halal forensic science laboratory for analysis. This is how. From 188,731 from our laboratory, then we need the fatwa from the Islamic Council of Thailand. This is the Sheikh al-Islam Ulama Committee. Then finally we spent whole day for fatwa all this kind of chemicals, and until finally we have the H number tabulation. This is the H number. Then it go to halal. No, not necessary to use the laboratory. Only check the list here. Or one thing that we just informed to the plant-based industry. Many plant-based industry, they use animal-based, something like a hidden ingredient, animal-based, but they don't know, they don't recognize, because when they cannot find with their naked eye, then finally we have to inform them, this is not plant-based. Then some people, it's rather popular in United States or even in Thailand. The people who are vegan, they feel that for plant-based food that is vegan, it's not sure. We have to check with the H number. And this is halal standardization we developed in order to use in the factory. You see, until now we have 1,112 factories. 89% are food, 11% are non-food, covering 154,820 23 employees. This is all over the country. We implement the system in the factory in Thailand. We have 4 phases of the system. We call the system as HAL-Q, Halal Assurance Liability Quality System. We spent 2 months. We shorten it. Yeah. The first phase is a document conformity assessment and the in-class training. On-site consult separate into 4 phases. 4 small phases is Haram critical control point. We use the H number, the laboratory, and the cleansing. We have the Najis cleansing solution. We developed by our own. And then finally, we audit. You see, this is the process. And in each step, we lock it with, for security, we lock it with the NFT, non-fungible token for formulate for the blockchain. And this is still under development. Before I come in here, we just use 20 factory as a model for the development of Thailand Diamond Halal blockchain. This is a cabinet resolution of the Thai government on the 10th of September 2021. Yeah, recently. You see, from here, this is a HAL-Q, as I mentioned earlier, HAL-Q. Then from HAL-Q, we look at with the NFT, and then do it for the app, decentralized applications. Then from here, finally we finish, it means that the consumer can trace back the halal status of the product that they're going to consume. This is the way. We call it the Thailand Diamond Halal blockchain. If it finished, I think that we can share the knowledge and experiences to all our Muslim community. This is, we got award from this system from several countries. From Malaysia in 2006, from the government of Thailand, Best Award in 2013 and 2020. We have a several award for each number for the HAL-Q and also from the Halal HACCP from Malaysia. And then we hope that if we can utilize this kind of halal blockchain, it's secure. It's secure because it's locked with the NFT from our own HAL-Q system. That is means that we can publicize and we can share our experiences and knowledge with our friends from all over the world. This is, we try to work for that. This is, we have 2,700 square meters together with 35 Muslim scientists with 7 PhD. We have 198 state-of-the-art scientific equipment. And we have the HAL-Q standardization system. We provided 100 pieces of intellectual property via and research and innovation, and we develop many IT platforms, something like an application, and also the platform for the halal tourism. This is we would like to share our experience to all of you. I think I have to finish my presentation now. Thank you very much.
Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome back. Since we have halal food, so we can start. Inshallah. So, as the professor said, I'm going to talk about halal vaccine. So, bridging science and faith, so that I will talk about that. I've been working in the vaccine for the last 15 years, developing vaccines, testing vaccine, and doing clinical trial, all from the laboratory work up to the clinical trial. And I hope we will convince you. I think this is a very important field, as the professor said, and there is some hidden ingredient in it which we need to be aware of it. And I'm not sure there is a certified halal vaccine yet, especially after we heard this hidden ingredient. And that is a big challenge, and I think that was very useful to hear these talks and come with a resolution for this one. I think this is the era, the golden era of vaccine, and I think all of you may be vaccinated with Covaxin. Has anybody not vaccinated with COVID? One, so it's 99% of the audience they've been vaccinated. So that's good. So you will be protected, what we call it herd immunity. The herd immunity, if all of us are vaccinated, so you are protection and you will be protected by default, inshallah. So you will not get the disease. Sorry. And then the importance of vaccine is that this is smallpox vaccine. Disease completely eradicated from the world because people start to use the vaccine. So the vaccine are very important things. So I just go through quickly what type of vaccine, and I think it's important to understand what type of vaccine we're talking about. And generally, vaccines went through 3 stages. We have first generation, which was from 1796, where the vaccine was discovered, up to 1960. This is the first generation. And we have second generation from 1980s, and we have third generation vaccine. I just will pause for a second until people see it again. So these are the 3 stages of vaccine. The first generation, which we just talked about, is smallpox vaccine, and this is using dead virus, smallpox virus. They killed it and they immunized individual, or they get the virus from cow and immunize individuals. And this is how the disease look like after the vaccination. The whole virus disappeared from the world. So that's very important. The second generation of vaccine, which use recombinant protein, and that is you take part of the gene of the virus or bacteria and put it in an expression vector in a yeast or a cell line, and you use that one. So you don't use the whole organism, you use part of it. And so that's the condition. And the example of that is hepatitis B virus. The third generation of vaccine, which we're all aware of it, which use DNA and genomic virus, or mRNA. And the best example is the COVID. So in COVID, they use this technology, they use DNA or RNA. So we have Pfizer, we have Moderna, and we have AstraZeneca vaccine, which they use this technology. AstraZeneca using a vector virus, which coming from flu virus, and use it to deliver the protein. And then Moderna and Pfizer, they use mRNA vaccine to produce this one. So just jumping back. So how the vaccine works? So the vaccine works if you have a subunit of the vaccine, which I just mentioned, whether in protein or the virus, you inject into the body, and the body will take with this type of cell, which we call dendritic cells, and start to stimulate your immune system. And once you have this immune system developed in your body, and this become active, and then when the virus comes, this type of cell, as we call it T cell antibody, start to eradicate the virus. So this is what we are after. We want to generate memory cells, so that your body will remember if the virus or bacteria comes. So that's what the whole idea about the vaccine. So the vaccine, as I said, either you grow the vaccine, you
if you have the bacteria or virus, after you grow it in a culture, and this is where the importance will come. If you get the virus and the bacteria, you grow it in the lab. Either this cell line, which we call it culture, is come from animal cell lines, but we have human cell lines, or animal product. And this is where it's become halal or haram. This is very important, this one. So we have some cell lines, cells obtained from animals, some derived from different type of animals. You have cell lines coming from human, from kidney or liver, and you use that one to grow the virus. Or you have product from animal like enzyme and gelatin, which we just heard. And this is where we concern about the source of cell line, the culture which you grow your vaccine. And this is very important. Whether animal cells, is it from pork, from halal slaughtered animal, or is it human? Is it okay to use human cell to produce the vaccine? How much product left after you grow the vaccine? Is it completely excluded, or still you have some product in your preparation? And we need to test, as the professor said, that we need to test the vaccine whether any ingredient left over, this hidden product, are they left over in the vaccine which we're using? And this has become very important to use. And the final product of the vaccine, it might contain gelatin. And most of the gelatin, as we heard, is coming from the pork. Is there any traces of gelatin left in the vaccine which you've been taking, or it's completely gone? And this is really important to address and to certify this, the final product of the vaccine, and test it whether we have this product or not. Because the vaccine is very widely used. All our children, they take about 8 or 9 vaccines in early stage. And all the diseases which are emerging, we take the vaccine. So it's extremely important. We need to understand, we need to test this final product, we need to certify. We need to collect all the vaccine which we give to our children. And we need to test and say this is halal vaccine or not. It's our responsibility in this room to certify those vaccines and to give it to the people. So we have the technology, we have the will, we need to certify this one, so there's no more excuses. This is a very Islamically committed, we have to be committed to this for the good of the people. There are a number of animal ingredients in the vaccine. I don't want to go to list it. These all are hidden vaccine. There are some gelatin, there are animal strain, there are human strain, there is a lot of human serum as well, animal serums. We need to test all these vaccines and they all come with the vaccine. As I said, animal source is very important. This one, whether the animal is halal or haram slaughtered, whether it has come from pigs or not. Animal product, is it halal slaughtered animals? So can we get the gelatin from halal source of animal? If gelatin, we can slaughter it in halal way, and if we get that one, the animal, the skin and the bones, and produce our gelatin or trypsin, that will make it halal. So that's a very good alternative which we need to think about it. So we're talking what is halal. Halal is important. And at the part, we talk about Muslim population. 24% of the world population are Muslim. This is a huge 1.5, 1.8 billion Muslim around. And then we all spread around 25 countries. Right? So wherever you go, you will find Muslim. And they need this product. And all our children, they need the vaccine. So there is a huge, huge demand in terms of economy, in terms of halalness, haramness, in terms of religion. So it is a very important, and we all know about. So these are, we need to look at whether that is comply with the Sharia. Is it halal certification? I think halal certification is very important. We need to address that. Significant, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "O mankind, eat from whatever is false or lawful or do not prosper with shaitan." This is what the Mufti said in earlier in this one. And so we need to go through all the ingredients which we have, And I think a lot of people interested in this one, and they are doing a lot of analysis. We need to go through the quality control. We don't want to say this is halal and compromise on the quality of the vaccine. So it has to be quality, it has to be standard, but at the same time, we need to confirm this is halal. We need to get some alternatives to this ingredient, and this is very important. We need to be able to trace what is halal material. We need to get the approval of halal from, we need to adhere, of course, to the hygiene and ethics. We need to find all these issues derived from halal, gelatin, alternative ingredient, and development of synthetic vaccine. So we need to work very hard on this one. So as a matter of personal initiative, we need to develop our own vaccine as a Muslim. We need to develop, we can't ask non-Muslims to develop a halal vaccine for us. We have to take the responsibility. We cannot blame other companies, why don't you give us halal vaccine? This is not their responsibility. This is our responsibility, is to make our own halal vaccine. If they cannot make it for economical reason, why they go to the labs? Because the gelatin they're using, they are happy with it. And they test it and they've been using it for 50 years. Why are they going to change it? If the trypsin they're using, they've been using it for years and standardized. Why are they going to use it? There's no economical value in it. But from religious point of view, we have to develop our own vaccine. We have to be involved in the processing. And therefore, my humble contribution, I came with this idea of Motec, a small company is starting up right now. We would like to develop vaccines in a halal way. So that's where I am working towards this. And we were able to produce vaccine rapidly for those diseases which emerging and re-emerging, emerging disease re-emerging, like COVID. We should be able, as a Muslim, we should be able rapidly to respond to produce a vaccine without depending on halal. So that's what we are working on it. One area which are interesting in these zoonotic diseases, these are diseases which transmit between animal and human, and so this is a circle. There's a number of diseases which can cause diseases for animal and human. This is particular, I'm interested in that one, and there is a gap, niche for that which we can contribute. So that's a vaccine which we work on it. It has to be halal and cost effective. It shouldn't be very expensive. It should be competitive as well, and we can able to use for both animal and human as well. This is type of whatever technology which we use. If you have a virus, you can take different type of gene and you put it in a vector. For example, in yeast. In yeast, you don't have a lot of animal-driven products, so we can control those ones. And this is how we want to do it. We can do multiple vaccine to reduce the cost. So we can make a product display on this vector. This is very scientific now, and we put number of genes derived from different passages, so that we have a good vaccine which will cover most of the diseases. So what we need is collaboration between pharmaceutical company. We need halal certificate body and Islamic scholar. There is a number of bodies here in Bosnia and other parts of the country, and we need to have certification and trust with the consumer. There is we need to do a lot of education and awareness to the public so that they buy and enter into the vaccine manufacturing. We already mentioned that one, and the professor said vaccine hesitance, because some people avoid to take the vaccine because the source is haram. So now we need to address those people. Okay, with the conclusion, vaccine product is a complex process. It's important to develop and provide halal vaccine to meet the needs of the whole population. So the vaccine is become halal. It could be useful for Muslim and non-Muslim alike. So we need to do that one. And halal vaccine will have positive impact on public health and community. We and others develop to avoid animal product in the vaccine product. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor, for this excellent.
Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. The most unpleasant timing for presentation is after the lunch. So good morning. I hope you are not tired. I have, let's say, not so pleasant topic to talk about it today. It's a history of halal certification. Actually, whatever I'm going to say already has been mentioned by some of our presenters. One important part already mentioned by Mr. Iksanov. And whatever I want to say is available on the Google, so I also made some Google checking before this presentation. I have 28 slides, and it's not possible to present it all in 15 minutes. So I will try to focus on just a few of them, and the rest I will just give as an example. And I'm sure that majority of you is aware of the events, activities, initiatives, and many other work which has been done in the last 15 years. But I will try to make it a bit different and interesting, to wake you up. I will start with one quote from the Danish philosopher and theologian, Søren Kierkegaard, who says that life can be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Once Emeritus Grand Mufti Mustafa Ceric on one conference says, there is a big wisdom in the fact that God has created a man with the two eyes on front of his face. So our purpose is to look forward and to go forward, not to look backward. So our approach should be always trying to find a way how to go forward. So, but anyhow, we have to be aware about of some activities, initiatives, and processes which happened before. So I will skip this. Mr. Iksanov has described what we are calling this halal ecosystem and halal standardization and accreditation ecosystem, which is divided on three levels. It is accreditation, certification, and production. And all system and standardization standards, there are standards for the product, standards for the certification body, and accreditation body, and we have to respect those levels. And I'm so glad that the OIC and SMIIC has decided, and the standardization expert group before decided that this framework will be also a framework for the halal ecosystem in the aspect of certification and accreditation. So on this slide, I will try to give you on the timelines the most important activities and processes which occurred in the history and which affected the change of the halal. Just two of them are important, local issue important for Bosnia and Herzegovina, but I have to put them over there, and I think that it's okay to put ourselves on this presentation. Majority of us says that something what we are calling the modern approach to halal started with Codex Alimentarius in 1997. Before 1997, there is no single international document describing, defining, regulating halal in the world. So somehow 1997 is starting point, but it doesn't come into last 15 years, which is the topic of this presentation. So the next important step was and activities was 2004. When Malaysia has developed first and registered first national halal standard, SMIIC 1500. The next country which developed national halal standard was Bosnia and Herzegovina in 2007, and we are very proud of these facts. Next step was ninth meeting of the standardization expert group of the OIC, and from that in 2008 started process of developing unified halal standards on the level of OIC countries. And next step was establishing of the SMIIC Institute, and in 2011 finally we got officially recognized and registered OIC halal standard as OIC SMIIC standards. Following this year, in worldwide started different initiative. I will not go deeper into reasons why that started, but one important activity was one attempt of the SEN, or European Institute for Standards, who tried to develop European halal standards. It was one very difficult case. Many of the people in the audience participated. I will not go in details because the purpose of presentation is not to go deeper in this. In some future slides, I will just give briefly some details. If we are considering the system accreditation, certification, and the food and the product and services standards, one of the most important next activities was to establish a unified accreditation scheme worldwide. Under umbrella of the SMIIC, within the accreditation committee, in 2013, I've been member of that committee. We prepared some proposal how accreditation scheme could be developed, and the first event happened in 2013 in Istanbul. And unfortunately, so far, this initiative didn't achieve, didn't came to the, let's say, some first step. We just had discussion, we opened some issues, proposed some scheme, but so far we didn't get those results. But what happens? On national level, some countries and some regional bodies started accreditation. So we got in 2015 in United Arab Emirates in Dubai Accreditation Center became Emirates International Accreditation Center and start accreditation of the local and international halal certification bodies. The other initiative was on the important step was adopting SMIIC standards on the level of GSO countries in 2015. In 2016, Gulf Accreditation Center based in Saudi Arabia issued first halal accreditation. It was, I think, in February 2016. In 2016, there was another initiative, and you may note that the name is the same. Actually, the name which has been, and the idea which originally developed on the level of the SMIIC and OIC has been taken by group of 10 national accreditation body, which established one group of the accreditation forum. It's based in United Arab Emirates. In 2017, Bosnia and Herzegovina got halal accreditation from Emirates International Accreditation Center. In 2017, in Turkey has established halal accreditation agency called HAK. And in 2019, we have a new edition of the SMIIC standards in 2019, and finally there is 2023. So the name of this topic is 15 years of halal accreditation, and if we are counting from 1997 to today, it's more than 15 years. So what is the 15? Which 15 years? in my understanding, the most important step which has been made worldwide in unifying halal standards is activities which are started under the SCG in 2008. 2008 to 2023, we have now those 15 years. And the major activities which changed the world of halal certification is happened in these 15 years in the circle of these under these major activities. So to be honest, we have to know that there is no single activities or source or any single event in the world which happened suddenly. There is only kun fayakun. When something happens, at once. But everything what we see as a result, as activities, has some prehistory. So before all these processes, we had something which was pre-standardization activities, and they are started even more in 1997. I will share with you a few pictures which I got from Dr. Hani from Kuwait. Those are the samples of first halal certificates which we could find from 1997, 1981, and also at that time even some false halal certificate has been found. Maybe you cannot see, but yeah, there is here. It's halal, not with ha. It's not halal. So this is but it is false one. So as we mentioned already, Codex Alimentarius, Malaysia 2004. So this is the slide which I took from Mr. Ihsan, His Excellency. This is from the first SDG meeting, 16 to 18 April 2008. So in this standardization and accreditation approach, for each of these most important level accreditation, certification, and products and service industry, we got one standard, SMIIC 1, 2, and 3, and they still remain as today as a base. 5 minutes to end. Okay. But beside, somehow we tried to establish something what we can call, the mainstream, and should be in this format. Sorry, should be in this format. But the reality was that there are so many countries and there is so many bodies who still doing something on their way. I will show you in one slide, one initiative, and there's, we will skip this. There's European halal standard. Some of the critical issues which discussed on this European SEN initiative is halal technical or religious issue, how we are going to preserve integrity of halal requirements and so on. But one important initiative came from the OIC countries. These are the list of accreditation body, I already mentioned that. I would like to show you this. We try to establish accreditation, certification, and products. From the OIC, we had initiative to establish system of mutual recognition of halal certification body. There is no need for standard, there is no need for accreditation. We have to go 20 years back and establish something what is mutual recognition of certification body. Luckily, this didn't achieve any positive results. To be fair, this process couldn't go by himself. There are so many people, there are so many aside initiatives who are very supportive to establish this process. They participated in creating something which is positive environment and positive public awareness for the halal. Those are World Halal Forum, Halal Journal, International Halal Integrity Alliance, Halal Focus, and today Dinar Standards, Salam Gateway, and Crescent Trade. I think that all of them are on the mainstream. And finally, from the source and information which I have access, my personal opinion and conclusion is that current development of halal certification and accreditation standards are sufficient for assessment of wide range of halal products and services. And this is the most important part. Standards have been adopted, institutions have been established, certification and accreditation schemes have been developed, but still, we have some individuals who are trying to do something else. If I may conclude with just one thing, I think that all these processes missing one key ingredient. That key ingredient is normative halal culture. If we achieve agreement, if we came to the agreement, this is our common document, this is system, this is the scheme. We adopt document and say we have it, but we are doing something else. That is the missing of normative halal culture. And in many aspects we have such problem. My proposal to this Congress and to you, distinguished representatives and participants of this Congress, is to try everyone from our position to make additional effort and to work on promoting something which is halal normative culture in order, to respect the documents which we adopt. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Amir, for the last 15 years update about halal. But I just want to mention one point, so we don't want to forget Indonesia, who was also a major part of that halal certification. I remember that in 1985, when they are frying that French fries and they started frying in the lard, there was a lot of agitations in that government, and that's why the halal started. Therefore, I think Indonesia was a pioneer, but that happened in 1985, and I'm glad that he covered from the last 15 years, otherwise we continue to go back and learn about how the halal started. With that, we're going to continue our next speaker, and I think everybody heard about homeopathic, allopathic. Every time we're sick, we want to see the doctor, either allopathic or homeopathic. But no, alhamdulillah, we have a new approach. It is basically called a halalopathy. Okay, I'm not sure you're aware of that, because this is where you take integrated approach and using the halal pharmaceutical halal ingredients for the healing. And for that, we have Professor Dr. Jawad Al-Zir from Switzerland, and he's going to talk about what is that halalopathy is. Okay, thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Well, indeed, first of all, I would like to thank for the invitation and for the introduction. More effective and how one can also activate immune system. So hopefully within 15 minutes I'll be able to convince you that there is a connection between halal pharma and health. Meanwhile, I want to tell you that if you focus with me very carefully, in the end of this lecture, you will be the doctor of yourself. So, in general, to create internal stability in our body, it is necessary to explore a general concept, which I call it this duality concept. Now, duality concept, which provide basically you have two contradicting elements sitting in one system. This sounds confusing. Two contradicting coming in one system. Now, to understand this system very carefully, I would like to explain similar system. We use it in chemistry and we call it buffer. So what is buffer? Buffer in general, if you have two different components in solution, and usually it is acid and it is anti-acid, which we call base. Now, the main function of buffer is to generate internal pH stability. Now, of course, this stability is important, especially to this buffer. If you add any strong acid or strong base, pH remain constant. Now, let's take the blood as an example in our body. It has a buffer system and it has a pH 7.4. Now, maintaining this value is essential for our existence. Now, you may ask how the blood can do that. Indeed, there is a simultaneous presence of acid, which is carbonic acid, and a base, which is a bicarbonate. Now, if we imagine for a while that our blood is just made from one component, either acid or base, one drop of strong acid or one drop of strong base, pH value will fluctuate from 1 to 14. Now, if you think deeply in our body, you will notice that it is really function through the presence of multi-buffer systems working together non-stop. Now, let's go to the brain. In the brain, we have two contradicting neurons transmitters. If you want to achieve mental stability, it is essential to create a balance between your excitatory and inhibitory neurons transmitters. If excitatory dominate, you get anxiety. If inhibitory neurons transmitter dominate, you get depression. Now, buffer system also play an important role in our metabolic activity. Let's take catabolic system and anabolic system. Both are reversing process. Now, if we have a balance between the ratio of cell which is being killed by catabolic process and the number of cell which being created by anabolic system, we can maintain a physical health. But if catabolic dominate, we die. Also, to my surprise, if you think deeply in our body, we have a fascinating two contradicting forms of energy. One is called potential energy and the other is called entropy. So potential energy is basically a good source for generating work, whereas entropy is a good source for generating heat. So of course we need potential to generate large molecule, but all of this need to be done at temperature 37, which is supported by entropy. But if entropy dominate, we die. Now, we can extend this concept and look at our personality. Now, our personality also has the opportunity to embrace duality concept and build its own buffer system by adopting values and lifestyles. So if you exclusively focus on material value in your daily life, you will never obtain a balanced life. Therefore, it is essential to create a harmony between your material value and non-material value. So while it is important to build career, buy a car, buy a house, it is equally important to enrich your human, moral, and spiritual values. Now, with regard to the lifestyle, which is important for us nowadays. Now, if you think your lifestyle is only made from one element which allow you to do whatever you want, you will not be able to create a buffer system. And the best buffer style which can tell you what is allowed to do and what is not allowed to do if you want to create stability and balance in your body. Now, if you have a stable personality and mentality, this will activate your internal potential. This will make your self-regulation active, homeostasis work in the best way. In other words, your immune system is in what I call it is in the fight mood. If you have any error in your body, it can be easily detected and corrected. Now, if your mentality is exposed to distraction, and if this distraction take you away from the fight mood, from the fight mood, then your immune system can go to the fright or to the flight mood. Both are unhealthy for your body. Alright, so now from Islamic perspective, Islam took the holistic approach for health, and with regard to prevention, Islam consider that, for example, your body has right over you, means that you must keep your body in the best form, from physically and spiritually. Islam also provides us a highly organized system with regard what to do and what not to do. Islam also encourages us to build compatible system between our behavior and what we believe. Islam really promotes anabolic thinking, positivity, optimism. And of course, that's all nice information to give you prevention and protection and good health. But also Islam draw our attention to many interesting natural products which has been proven to be very effective for maintaining a good health and preventing disease. Now, with regard to cure, so Islam, with regard to cure, focus on two important elements: information and medicine. If you go through Quran, you will notice that the word cure has been mentioned 4 times. 3 times with relation to information, 1 time is with relation to medicine. Now, with regard to information, it is diversified because Islam takes into consideration that not all people are Muslim. So you could focus on positive expression or supporting information. And if you are Muslim, this is the best. Quran recitation can give you the best source of information. And the main goal of this information is to enrich your potential, activate your immune system through building spirituality and tranquility. Now, if you want to fight a tough disease like cancer, information is not enough. That's why Islam introduced the second element, which is medicine, which has been represented by the concept of honey. Now, we all know that honey has been described in Quran as a cure. First, just to remind you, if you want to use honey as a cure, it is essential to dissolve it in water and drink it rather than take it as a food, because it is more healthy if it is dissolved in water. Now, if you have, basically honey is just molecules extracted from flowers, metabolized in the stomach of the bees, generated as a honey. That is all molecules. Information, basically it's a sort of waves which interact with our body. And here you have the so-called particles wave duality. So this is the last slide, which might be the most important one. Now, in the market, we have so many drugs. I worked in drug design for more than 25 years. Nowadays, whenever we design a new drug, when it goes to the market, therapeutic value is almost the same as the one which is existent. So much time, so much money, improvement is very little. Now, how to make existing a drug is more important. My proposal is based on creating a connection between the drug and our lifestyle. So in general, all the people all over the world have different lifestyles. It could be gluten, glucose, or lactose-free. It could be vegan or vegetarian. It could be kosher, or it could be halal. Since the majority are Muslim, if we just focus on halal lifestyle. And now if you are a patient, and if you are a Muslim, and we offer you a medicine, and we tell you the ingredients all are halal, the process is tayyib, and we label it. Now labeling it, we create trust. Using it, we create compatibility between lifestyle and medicine. Now if you look at that, we have a therapeutic effect from the drug, we have a placebo effect from trust, we have compatibility effect. Now in biology, if you have two effects going in the same direction, you get a bonus effect, which we call it synergistic effect, and I call it miraculous effect, which will lead us to the miraculous recovery. Well, yes. So that's it. In conclusion, I think if we implement the concept of halalopathy and align medicine with our lifestyle, we can open a new era in medicine, which can create a compatibility between medicine and our values and beliefs. Thank you for your attention.
Jazakallah khair, Doctor, for this interesting talk. We heard about gelatin and animal-derived product, and in Islam, in fiqh, there is called istihala, which converting material to other material. And the best one to speak about this subject, about istihala, we have Dr. Adil Sabir, who has a lot of experience in halal food and biotechnology. Please welcome Dr. Adil.
15 minutes to talk.
كان بدنا شوية. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه الطيبين الطاهرين. The first time I came to work on the subject of istihala, when I had invitation from the Majma', the International Islamic Fiqh Academy in Jeddah under the OIC, to research the issue of istihala and the complexity of the issue of istihala. This, in fact, came following to another Majma' or another International Islamic Fiqh Academy conference or the annual meeting, and there was a discussion. My topic was the slaughter, the new technology in slaughter in halal. As I work in many slaughterhouses, so the technology of slaughtering and the issue of stunning. So in one of the subjects that has been discussed at that time, it was istihala. Istihala came, the subject that has been discussed, it was the blood plasma. It was mentioned as a decision that blood plasma is acceptable. And I raised my hands. I didn't come to this meeting because of blood plasma. But I raised my hand that this is not acceptable. So at the end, I wrote 4 pages and I sent it to the Majma', asking them to review the decision. Accordingly, a conference or workshop happened in Jeddah after 4 months to discuss the issue of istihala and the rest of it. So that is the background of it. I thought I would mention it, and I wrote a paper on the subject of istihala and another paper on the subject of blood plasma. How can I go to which side? So today I'll be talking about the objective of my discussions. I gave a bit of introduction to istihala in the literature and what it contains, and talk about istihala in the IFTA councils and the contradictory results from that, and then I'll touch on gelatin, blood plasma, then I'll come to conclusion. But the objective of my discussions today is to comprehend the concept of istihala in relation to its definitions and its application in utilization of gelatin and blood plasma as constituents in food and pharmaceutical product. In fact, the Islamic literature does not have a clear and fixed definitions for istihala from scientific/chemical and industrial viewpoint to be considered today as being standardized. Rather, the literature sometimes characterized certain process of istihala based on qiyas. Qiyas is according to the knowledge at the time. So it is different times, different knowledge. Qiyas is the process. This is a typical fiqh terminology. Qiyas is the process of deducting analogy in which the teaching of the hadith and are compared and contrasted with those in the Quran, and you come to conclusion about it. So it is very highly specialized chapter in Islamic fiqh, and that is why we need to involve our scholars and make them understand the science behind what we talk about. Dr. Riaz spoke about many products that comes. Dr. Ahmad talked about many products that comes in the pharmaceuticals and ingredients, and these are actually not very much understood by our scholars, and that's a big issue, and I'll come to that. So istihala is a change of a substance that causes transformation from its nature to another nature. In the common science terms, refers to any chemical reaction that transforms substance to another compound as a type of transformation of substance to another substance. An example of this transformation in the oil fat, regardless of their origin, to become soap, for example, fat and soap. That is listed by Dr. Hawari. I do agree with him about many things, but I do disagree with him about many things as well. Example of this is the burning, that is the najasa, and burning of wood to ash, and I'll come to talk about that, how this transformation come to the level of to the molecular level, so the changes is quite deep. Oxidation, the case of the of making vinegar, that's transformation of wine to vinegar. So we have issue of fermentation, and we have the issue of oxidation. These are actually these are the examples of istihala. Decomposition comes in the living material in soil, when the living material deteriorate, decompose to various elements to make fertilizers, and how the plant absorb the various elements. Decomposition, the fall of the typical in the Islamic literature, the fall of an animal, a donkey or a pig, in a salt lake, and they change that into salt. So the common denominator action between all these is the chemical change of the chemical change of the material. So I say decomposition of living material to become as a fertilizer. For example, in the case of plants absorb salts, but plants cannot absorb protein. So if you put a piece of meat next to the plant or a plant cannot absorb this. But after decomposition, when it comes to a molecular level and compounds to make elements, so plants can absorb potassium, can absorb sodium, can absorb all the other elements in those elements. So I'm coming to say that the istihala needs a real change. The following process cannot be considered as istihala. That's the evaporation, condensation, grilling, baking, etc. These are not istihalic. They don't come into istihala. Istihala of to originated material in the fatwa. Okay, there is a consensus. There is a unity on accepting that pig-derived products are not acceptable as being halal, regardless to the transformation process. Okay. Now, on this subject, there is a division between scholars, and some scholars accept, some scholars don't accept. But well, it is our responsibility, scientists here, to explain to the scholars the exact process so that they can derive the fatwa accordingly. And if we look at this the fatwa, which is basically says that anything from is not acceptable. That is from the Saudi Arabia Council. Okay. So it is not possible for Muslims to use yeast and gelatin that is derived from pork in food. Right. So in the fiqh council, the istihala term has been defined at some stage, an actual change in an impure substance, or actually it's a pure because istihala work on both. On both can be when the sugary products change into alcohol. That is the takhmir. That is also istihala. So the halal becomes haram. That is another example of istihala. So the issue that we are talking about, can we have industrial istihala? Can we have industrial istihala? On this, we need to address this question clearly to scholars to make them understand what is the significance of the issue. So I put here with your hypothetical a scenario. Well, is it acceptable in Islam to farm pigs and use the concept of istihala to produce products such as protein and minerals? So we don't leave anything in the flesh of pigs to sell in the market, but we sell them as different material. And this is actually in one meeting that I had, and I had a debate and saying that if the bones of pigs change into gelatin, what's the problem? And I came to say, what is the problem? Okay, let us invest in a pig farm, and I can guarantee you that we will not have anything in terms of meat. Everything can be changed. Can you accept this? Can you invest? The answer was, at that time, was no, of course. So, the natural, is it natural or industrial? That is the issue that we need to clarify to scholars so we can have a real understanding of the issue. The natural transformation of substance to a new substance through complete chemical reaction. It has to be complete chemical reaction. The new substance is different from the original substance in its name. I'll go to gelatin quickly. Gelatin is basically it's a process. We have a process that we cook the bones, or we cook the hides, and we obtain gelatin. So the collagen, the original, which is the collagen, it's a three strands of proteins. The only issue after heat, after exposed to the heats, it comes into hydrolyzation of the strands, so it becomes to single strands, and that is the gelatin. Basically, it's a treatment. What other material that we use in terms of we do use chemicals actually, but these chemicals is to purify it. But the actual fact, the raw material, which is the gelatin, is under the effect of the heated treatments. So the raw material go for the pre-treatment, hot water recovery, and gelatin. As simple as this. So there is no transformation in terms of the jelly. We come to the blood. The blood and the plasma. The plasma actually it comes with when we come to the industry, we do centrifugation. So it is separation of the red cell, white cell, platelets, and the plasma. The blood plasma is a pale yellow, as you can see it in the slide, very clear. The fact is, China alone has 600 million pigs per year. That is the population. Some people say 450 million pigs. So if we look at that volume of blood that comes out of it, it's 1.5 million tons of blood. That's equivalent to value of a protein of 2 million tons. That's equivalent to 2.5 million eggs. Okay, so it is of a great value, but how that is reflected in our food consumption, because especially as Muslims, we are consumers. We don't have many productions. We consume. We buy from many countries in the world, and that is the danger about it. This is a simple process of how nowadays the technology, how we collect blood from pigs. Basically, it goes under gas stunning to a chamber, and you have 2 needles to be inserted in the neck, and then it is like you milk a cow. So you milk the blood, and this blood goes into centrifugations to separate the various parts of the bloods. As simple as that, and then it is dried and used as a meat glue, what we have in the industry. The entire chemical structure of blood plasma are identical as a blood, and the physical, chemical, and biological proteins of blood plasma are similar to blood. Therefore, blood plasma does not satisfy the requirements of istihala, where structural transformation is must. Dr. Sayyid Joda from Southampton University, he was at the time he was working in Qatar, wrote to me saying that removal of cellular components by a simple process, a centrifugation from the blood, does not produce a new identity. It is still blood, but without the cellular components. And another Professor Risley, he retired now in the Putra University Institute of Halal. A lot of you know about him. He said, in my opinion, the blood plasma is still not possible. It's halal as the use of blood. This is because, in my opinion, istihala has not happened, as the process of separation is totally physical. So, blood plasma is separated physically from blood using centrifugation, and istihala is not happening. In the jurisprudential rules, the qaida fiqhiyya, In Arabic we say الحكم على الشيء فرع من تصوره. Okay, judgment on something is a branch of its perception. So the perception, the complete understanding of the subject is very important when we table it to our fuqaha. يقول الله سبحانه عز وجل ولا تقف ما ليس لك به علم. Do not follow what you have no sure knowledge of. So this is the basic, and what we need to understand, what we need to, as scientists, what we need to table it to our religious scholars. We need to give them the good understanding. Previously, this is the reality. This is what was given to our scholars, and this is a fatwa. Came blood plasma, which is a cheap alternative to egg white. So the principle is introduction is economical. May be used in pies, soups, sausages, hamburgers, pastries and biscuits, pudding, bread, etc., etc. Okay, at the end it is different from blood in the name, characteristics and qualities. It has different ruling than the blood. So they allowed it. And that is the reality. Fortunately, that is until the Majma until 2013, and this is the exact meeting that I attended in the Majma. Alhamdulillah, there is a change in the fatwa. So after that meeting, Dr. Ali Fanous was in one of the invited scientists in February 2015, that we discussed the issue of istihala, the issue of blood plasma, the issue of gelatin, and they came to have a different opinion in the following meeting. A few months later, in March, they have another meeting based on that workshop that we did in Jeddah. Regarding this is the one before, the last one is the recommendations. Regarding blood plasma, that is what it says. Regarding blood plasma, mentioned in the after-mentioned decision, which is the decision before, that we talked earlier, the Council is considering revisiting the matter due to the availability of new data, which is positive. But the Secretariat of the Council will establish a committee comprising specialists in the field. Until now, that committee is not, nothing happened. The conclusion, it's the definition of the istihala. I have to go quickly. Another point, in the case of gelatin, blood plasma, and blood plasma changes are not significant enough to justify applicability of istihala. Any fatwa that permits the use of gelatin and with raw materials sourced from non-halal source based on istihala must be withdrawn. And similarly to blood plasma. And thank you very much.
You even have 15 minutes or more.
Change the moderator.
Proper rule is biased. The proper rule is exactly that.
Conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. CR. Non-compliant.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Esselamu Aleyküm ve Rahmetullahi ve Berekatuhu. Distinguished chairman and participants, before I start, I want to take the organizer for this excellent events and inviting me for this opportunity. My presentation about this sustainable halal food safety It covers introduction, problems related to sustainable halal food safety, aspects of sustainable halal food safety, strategies for ensuring the sustainability, and recommendation. One of the sustainable development goals that service the lifestyle preferences of consumers is sustainable halal food safety. This is also adopted as a definitive strategy on the international platform today. When food production and trade have become globalized, the right to continuous access to food is one of the most basic human rights, which covers in the accessing safe food and living, feeding and receiving services according to the requirements of fair pay. Food safety means determining the necessary rules, taking precautions and ensuring the necessary conditions for achieving adequate, healthy, safe and nutritious food that is constantly accessible both physically and economically for all people. Today, halal food refers to a brand value that reflects the production philosophy and commercial ethics of a believed person and represents the highest quality in food. The Holy Quran says, Astaghfirullah, people eat of the righteous, halalan and clean tayyiban things on earth. Next to term halal, which deal with matters related to belief, the term tayyib clean is also mentioned, which expresses quality, health, hygiene, cleanliness, nourishment and trust. For this reason, according to Islamic law, products and services used in daily life must be in accordance with Islamic conditions, both in terms of raw material resources and halal and tayyiban. Halal and tayyib foods mean vegetable and animal products that does not contain any elements that are prohibited according to Islamic rules, including the sources of financing, prepared, processed, transported, and stored in places or devices free of these elements and does not have direct contact with any food pursued outside of this situation during preparation, processing, transportation, and storage. Halal food safety means food that does not pose much threat to the active and healthy life of a person at every stage of food production, processing, packaging, distribution, and consumption processes, and is prepared in accordance with the rules of Islamic law and covers the chain from field to farm. Sustainable halal food security therefore requires a holistic approach that takes into account the sustainability of the production, processing and distribution processes of food products in accordance with Islamic principles, human health, environmental and social economic factors. Problems relate to sustainable halal food safety. What happened? Sorry. We happen classify these problems under two categories, namely the supply chain and certification problems. Problems relate to supply chain. production and products in the supply chain, risks of contamination in foodstuffs, food fraud and counterfeiting, lack of traceability and transparency, breaches of contract, bringing the profit ambition of enterprises to the forefront, lack of cooperation between manufacturers, supply chain actors and government agencies, biosafety problems, different application, couple between enterprises, foodborne disease, unhygienic production environments, raw material and material quality. Problems relate to Halal certification. Different certification bodies have different criteria. The Halal certification process is costly for some manufacturers. Reliability of certification bodies, insufficient resources of organization that will carry out Halal certification, the late law of the certification process and its international acceptance, different interpretation of Halal standards in different countries and cultures, our reputation of certification process. Sustainability Halal food safety has 4 aspects, namely ethical, social, environmental, and economic. Ethical sustainability. Ethical values are one of the important factors in sustainable halal food safety. There are many verses in the Noble Quran about these values and in Hadith of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In addition, the 5 basic values that must be protected in Islamic law, which known as Maqasid al-Sharia, must be taken into account. These are the protection of life, property, mind, generation, religion. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says if there is a defect in a person's property, it is not lawful for him to sell it without explaining it. In other hadith, whoever cheats on us is not one of us. If the characteristics of product are not fully known, such a purchase agreement should be terminated due to a product that was purchased but later understood. The purchase transaction becomes invalid due to this defect in the product. Every halal is healthy. However, everything that is healthy may not be halal. For example, imagine that 2 healthy sheep are slaughtered by paying attention to the hygiene rules. But if one of them is the property of death, this sheep is haram, although it is healthy. Therefore, halal has a special side, a religious side, a spiritual dimension. Halal food procedures need to manage their business ethically and honestly, provide accurate product information, earn the trust of consumers, and create a sustainable business model. Social sustainability, another aspect, social sustainability deals with the issues such working condition of employees in food production, living standards of farmers, and the rights of people involved in different stages of the food product supply chain. It's also important for social sustainability that enterprises pay fair wages conditions and provide support to local communities. Economic sustainability is related to financial performance of companies in food production and the supply chain. Issues such marketing, pricing, and investment stages relate to halal are involved. Good practices such as sustainable resources use, energy, and water conservation reduce production costs. This both increases the profitability of manufacturer and provides consumers with more affordable products. Recycling contributes to economic sustainability because the reuse of recycled raw materials reduce production cost. Environmentally, sustainability is related to sustainability of resources used in food production, protection of natural resources, and minimization of environmental impact. In this context, it deals with issues such as sustainable agricultural practices, water management, biodiversity conservation, and waste management. Sustainability of halal food safety, prohibit waste and use of harmful procedures including processing aids. Innovative environmentally friendly technologies increase efficiency in food production and also support environmental sustainability. For example, by using intelligent agricultural technologies, more efficient use of natural resources can be achieved and farm activities can be managed more effectively. In addition, thanks to innovative technologies used in food production, the quality and safety of products can be improved. Strategies for ensuring the sustainability of halal food safety. There are a number of strategies to ensure the safety, quality, and sustainability of halal food products. These strategies include strengthening government regulations, providing education and training, encouraging industry cooperation, improving supply chain management, and the use of technology. Strategies to ensure sustainability of the company are protection of natural resources, reduction of chemical use, social responsibility, product and packaging design, certification and supervision, education and awareness, food waste management, combating climate changes, local product use, labor force management, product packaging, consumer awareness, business performance monitoring, innovative practices, social responsibility, partnership and cooperation, management system, reach and development. To ensure sustainable halal food safety, halal food producers are required to produce in accordance with halal standards determined by certification bodies. Bodies and certify their compliance with these standards. Conclusion. It is necessary to develop and implement standards related to halal food certification processes. These standards should determine and monitor the compliance of food production, processing, and distribution process with halal rules. Food procedure and enterprises should carefully select and manage resources, supply chain, and production processes of raw materials, used in the production of halal food. In addition, appropriate training should be provided in order to ensure compliance with hygiene rules. Food manufacturers should know and apply the need for accurate information and labeling in the packaging and labeling processes of food products. Recycling should be given importance, and the use of plastic that don't dissolve in nature in the from and beverage sector should be reduced. It should be kept up with changing quality and control systems. Environmentally friendly practices should be used in the production process. Food waste should be reduced in the food and beverage sector, and food and beverage enterprises should adopt environmentally friendly strategies. The chemicals used in the production process should be used appropriately, and chemical wastes should be kept under control. In conclusion, halal food safety is an important issue in terms of sustainability. Halal food procedures should create a sustainable halal food production and supply chain by taking measures to protect natural resources, save energy and water, waste management and recycling practices. For sustainable halal food safety, it is necessary for all stakeholders to cooperate with fields such as social responsibility, economics, health, environmental science, and management, politics, and Islamic law. The studies relate to sustainability of healthy and safe halal food, which are relatively broad and complex and cannot be explained by a single scientific field, should be addressed with interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary approaches, and studies should be conducted. Thank you very much for understanding.
I thank you very much for my Professor Halal for this, let's say, a peaceful presentation.
Excellent. Okay, I think we are almost there. We have got last speaker of this session, so then at least we are done. There are more sessions after that, but this is the last speaker. I think we heard earlier 15 years of accreditations and certification. Now we're going to hear about the current situation. What is the current status of that accreditation and certification from Dr. Dabir and from Bosnia and Herzegovina, and hopefully he will give us what's going on currently in the Halal accreditation system.
Okay. Thank you, Professor. Just to respecting your time, not times, and because of Mr. Amir Sakic already talked about Halal accreditation during the last 15 years, and His Excellency Mr. Ihsan already mentioned about infrastructure of Halal. That's a similar topic of my presentation, so I will just to save our time, to skip on the end, and just to say a few words and conclusions, if you agree. It will be a good idea, I think. So, yes. So, only I want to maybe one more time mention and underline one thing that where we are here for now about halal quality infrastructure. And when we are talking about infrastructure, we are talking about standards. We are talking about that we have to have conformity assessment, we have to have accreditation, and of course according to all standards that they are required. Accreditation standards for accreditation, conformity assessment standards for conformity assessment, and standards for metrology. Of course, we as a when I said we, I said halal community, because all of us, we are interested party in halal community, then we are talking about halal standard. We have it on OIC level. It means we have requirements for different type of products. So until now, and very yesterday, actually, I got this information from Mr. Ilhami from the Institute for Standardization of Turkey, and from His Excellency Mr. Ihsan Oğut about this initiative is already started, and I hope that it will be inshallah in very soon. So it will be IFHAB, Islamic Forum Halal Accreditation Bodies, right? Very nice. So I hope that we will, if we have this organization under OIC, then we will have, inshallah, I hope so, that we will resolve double accreditation, recognition, and some type of registration in halal and and resolve our problems. So because of that, actually, I wrote this conclusion. Even I didn't know for this information. This information I got yesterday, and there is only two conclusions. It could be included in our resolution. So it means that it is necessary to conclusions are it is necessary to make an agreement under the OIC Mutual Recognition Arrangement (MRA) and multilateral recognition arrangement and multilateral agreement. Sorry. So of accreditation and certification as soon as possible. Diplomatic, another one, diplomatic and scientific activities is suggested for realizing this idea by all Congress and OIC participants according to international practices. That's all. Thank you very much, and enjoy in the rest of the day.
I will just briefly inform you that the Halal Quality Certification has gathered all valuable information about halal and all achievement information that we gathered from our experience in field of halal development and halal certification, and we combine all this information into one book. So I would like just to call the authors which we have here in this audience, Professor Dietetics, to join me, Professor Benjamin Damir.
Na ovo mjesto. Možemo i stojati.
Sjete vas, ja ću stojati, ja. Professor Sana Cheman, please just join us on the stage. So the book is in Bosnia. So Professor. Yeah. Hvala lijepo. Dakle, molim vas, please have a seat. So the book, the name of the book, which you have one copy in Bosnian language in your case. The name of the book is Halal Quality Concept and Standardization. And just, I will share brief information. The editors of the book are Dr. Jasic and Dr. Alihodzic. The book covers 10 chapters, and it has been prepared by 19 authors from different fields. So the content of the book covering following aspects: understanding halal, nutrition, culture and halal, halalonomy and Islamic economy system and the halal market, halal quality and standardization, implementation of halal, specific requirements of halal in different production areas, halal medicine and cosmetic production, packaging materials in certification process, halal certification procedure, and food additive. The book contains vocabulary of most specific terms which has been used in the book, and the book contains references which includes 31 books, 134 journals, 42 web pages, and 3 other sources of information. So, inshallah, we are hoping that the book will be translated in English in one year. So it will be available for the public who doesn't speak and understand our language. I invited all authors for the family photo, for the group photo. If some one of them would like to give short introduction of their contribution to this book, they are kindly invited. But we prefer if you have some specific questions and would like to discuss with the authors, we can do that during the dinner and during the rest of the day. And our idea is to proceed with the other presentation which we have prepared for this day. So, honorable authors, Professor Jasic and others, would you like to add something? If not, I think we can conclude this part. Professor.
I think we have no so much time today for discussion about the book. I kindly ask Professor Lončarić from Croatia, he will something say in front of book reviewers. Please, Professor Lončarić, please, your statement.
Okay, thank you. So I would like to greet you all on behalf of the Vice Rector of the University of Osijek from Croatia, Professor Drago Šubarić, who was the reviewer of the book Halal Quality, Concept and Standardization. We can all agree that this book represents a significant contribution to the understanding of halal quality and standardization procedures, the application of halal standards, and the certification process of halal quality. The book, as we heard, consists of 10 interesting chapters, and it's written in Bosnian language. I would like to add that the book is written in simple language, understandable to the wider population, so it can be used in schools, high schools, and universities, therefore making its contribution particularly significant for this region. Once again, thank you all for your support and promotion of such an immensely important topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you to the authors and promoters, and I think it was, most efficient book presentation and book promotion so far. Thank you.
Are you going to translate it into different languages?
Inshallah. Inshallah. Thank you very much for your attention. We can proceed with the program.
But I want to give a very brief information about our organization, new organization, AHAC, Association of Halal Certifiers. I took some parts from the known presentations, but I shortly give information and pass. You know all this knowledge given by our presentation. But I want to say something about halal. What's halal? Halal, not healthy, not quality, not hygienic, not clean. Halal is very basic. What's not haram is halal. I want to give a example. If one of my brothers in Burkina Faso, he wants to cut a sheep, he take a knife. That knife cannot be stainless steel. sharp knife, he can cut the goat on soil and hunt the trees. There are so many fly, bees, insects, etc. There is no problem. That's halal. Is it hygienic? I don't know. Maybe hygienic. According to man that live in Europe all about his life or life, maybe eat that meat, that can be a problem, but in Burkina Faso there is no problem. We can eat and there is no problem. We must change our vision a little bit, but we are not using this type of approach while we are talking about a trade of some industrial productions. When we think about the trade of the international production, we accept some other known knowledge during that position. After United Nations got agreements, then the World Trade Organization gives some root to our production and trade links in all over the world. During this methodology organized, they define a system that mentioned again and again, but all this made to eliminate the barrier to trade. So this methodology explained many documents and accepted by the international organization and World Trade working parallel to this system. Also, we accept this system in Halal world or parallel to this system. This information comes from all the Mr. Öz's old presentations. You know, you saw several times. But we now to making the halal production and the halal trade for all Muslim peoples, many problems comes, and now we are trying to eliminate all these problems. According to me, the most important problems of Muslim world is ethic problems. If not, there is no problem, because everybody working similar standards. Ideally, is not a document, is not a standard, but the approach is very similar to each other. But main problem now, making a halal certification is very expensive operation, and producers, traders prefer the cheap of that. And accreditation methodology and the other methodologies are now changing in the world. Now, new conformity assessment bodies, collaborative organizations occur. Maybe you know, in Europe there is a organization ENEC. ENEC is the European mark that works parallel to International Electrotechnic Commission standards, ISO standards and SMIIC standards. There are many known firms in that organization, in that certification scheme. Intertech, UL, SGS, VWE, DECRA, etc., etc. All countries Austria, Belgium, Denmark, Italy, Germany, etc., etc. Also, there is another organization related to the video management systems. That systems related with the management systems certifiers, IQNet, maybe you know. Why I give this information to you? We try to organize, parallel to the system, association for Halal certifiers. The main aim to gather all certification bodies, transparent organization, protect the interest of all Halal certification chain, starting with manufacturers, ending with consumers. And we want Halal not be expensive and promote a Halal certification scheme parallel to all conformity assessment bodies that the member of that organization. I know there are similar organizations. What's the difference of these organizations? We try to behave ethic organization, and we declare that. And main aim also, we use a standard that comes from the OIC SMIIC standards. If any member come and join us, it must be used the SMIIC standards. It's a must. And at this point, there are 43 conformity assessment bodies comes and apply for membership, and we have 43 members now in AHAG umbrella. And also we are trying to organize the legal identity to this organization. I am a Secretary General of this organization. I try to organize the international entity in central in Turkey. Why we prefer Turkey? Because Turkish Standard Institution is a governmental organization, and to organize this type of system is very easy for us, and the other members give support to this approach. The main approach is known things, but lastly, I want to say something. Maybe also you know there is a certification scheme. That scheme AS 9100. That methodology comes from the Society of Automotive Engineers and European Association of Aerospace Industries. That methodology related to the management system of the aerospace, and they organize a certification scheme. This scheme is very strict. Personnel certification of this scheme is closed system. The auditors is trained in the closed system, and all steps are in that certification scheme. The world is changing. Why they prefer that? Because aerospace production is very critical. What Halal critical than that? Why? Related to the IR. Not this word only. Therefore, we must define a good and trustable certification scheme if we can under the AHAG roof, and want to give the service to inshallah the area. Thank you very much indeed. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Mr. Ilhami, for the presentation. I will call up the chairmen of next two sections, Ms. Edina Mešić and Dr. Ali Fanaus. Please join me on the floor. Next two sections are certification and accreditation of halal quality, status and opportunities for improvement, and halal in different segments of industrial products. Mr. Mohammed Jina and Dr. Fani Firdausu couldn't come, so we'll have only two presenters.
Good afternoon to all of you. It's a great honor for me to have the opportunity to greet all the remaining my colleagues who gathered here for this opportunity. I hope that you have strength to pay a little bit more attention for me and my colleague for our presentations. So since previously my colleagues mentioned most of these things that actually discusses our research paper, I will not be redundant and I will try to make it short. So I'll just give you a brief intro what this survey was about, but I will skip the introduction about halal global market and the issues that I have raised from the unregulated frameworks in the halal market. First of all, I would like to greet you on behalf of Islamic community in Croatia, Center for Halal Quality Certification that I'm representing, and give my appreciations to the organizers of this event for providing us this excellent opportunity to discuss the issues and the latest trends in the halal industry overall. As you can see from our topic, halal accreditation requirements from the perspective of halal certification bodies, me and my colleague Alen Dubonic, which is CEO of the Center for Halal Quality Certification that operates in Republic of Croatia, we tried to done the direct inquiry to the all certification bodies that were at our disposal at that time to just find out their opinion about the current regulation of halal market. And what I can say from my personal experience working in the halal certification for the past more than 10 years, we have gone through the 4 different accreditation processes for 4 different markets. And I could say that the requirements for each of these accreditation was a bit similar, with some minor amendments. And what I didn't mention that we are still in the process of 3 another accreditations. So, okay, we all know that being accredited has tremendous value in academic world. So that means that it actually accreditation represents the benchmark that you have actually got or passed the set of the requirements, and then you have been recognized by these requirements. And it's good to be accredited because it's useful, and actually it forces you as institutions to pass on a regular basis some kind of self-evaluation or self-reflection. The problem here is that everyone wants to perform accreditations. So the rise of accreditation schemes is the major challenge in the halal industry, and that's actually the topic that we try to broaden and to try to research in this paper. So could you please skip to the aim of this paper? I think several sorry, there's a pointer here. So since my previous colleagues Amir and Damir talked about the accreditation bodies that actually perform the accreditation for halal certification bodies, what is the major challenge that we face here, that actually we point out as the aim of our research, that there is no universal recognition of halal accreditation in all export markets. So our aim was to determine whether the current regulation of halal market is effective and appropriate, and whether we have been on the right track. So how we perform this research, we use the questionnaire comprising of 7 questions related to the regulations of the halal market, conducted in 13 countries, which are listed here, and we got responses from the 32 representatives of halal certification bodies. This, I have to mention this that these bodies are not only located in European Union or Europe or our region, it's actually includes the whole world, because we have the representatives from United States of America, Australia, and etc. So we have asked several questions. Have you obtained any halal accreditations? Major of our respondents, 75% of them have responded positively, so 75% of them actually gone through at least one process of accreditation. Do you think accreditation is necessary for HCB? Of course, majority of our respondents agree that the accreditation is necessary and it's useful, while 22% disagree with this statement. Does current accreditation process, in your opinion, have some disadvantages? We can see that 41% of them stated that accreditation imposes high cost of process is really costly. Almost equal percentage of respondents, 20% of them stated that there are a lot of political issues in the accreditation process, while also 22% it's stated that it's time consuming and the requests are really complex. While 9% of them thinks that there is no any disadvantage of the current regulation of halal market. Do you think that the development of halal accreditation process is on the right path? This is really interesting how they responded, because it's almost the equal percentage. So 56% disagreed that the current accreditation process is on the right path, while 44% agree that it's on the right path. Does halal accreditation obtained from one of the OIC countries, in your opinion, should be recognized in all OIC countries? Majority of them, 84%, actually agree that international recognition of halal accreditation is necessary. Do you think it's necessary to establish a halal accreditation body in non-OIC countries such as the EU or US? This response were equally divided, so 50-50%. So 50% of them agreed and 50% of them disagreed with this statement. In your opinion, is there a need to recognize halal certificates from OIC countries for products sold in non-OIC countries? Majority of them stated that there is necessary to do this. So, in conclusion, usually they told me that I'm a fast talker and it's my fault. But I think in this case, you will agree that it's not fault, because I'm really fast. So, as you can see, that I already came to the conclusion. So, even though I didn't have the chance to present this paper in details, what we can all agree on, what would be the equal conclusion, that effective regulation and accreditation are critical to ensuring the integrity and growth of the halal market, that the role of halal accreditation bodies is to find consensus in halal markets, reduce costs and complexity of accreditation, establish international alignment for accreditation, and recognize halal certification bodies. The questionnaire data suggests that halal certification bodies view that the multiplicity of halal standards is a significant barrier for export activities, and it underscores that the necessity of halal accreditation to regulate the market, but also emphasizes the need to consensus among accreditation bodies to reduce the cost and complexity of the procedures. So, all in all, the study concludes that the current state of halal accreditation is not optimal, which we can all agree. Before I thanks for your attention, I would like to take this opportunity also to announce Halal Business Forum 2023, which will be held in Zagreb, Croatia. This is our third edition, which will be organized by the Center for Halal Quality Certification in Croatia. It's an international event. It will be comprising of the three forums. One will be panel discussions, the other will be scientific conference, and third will be to the B2B sessions. We would be very honored for you to see these faces in Zagreb in October, inshallah. Thank you so much for your attention. I don't know whether if there is any questions, I'm at your disposal. If there is no, I will just let the floor to my colleague.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me for this interesting conference. Okay, as you see on the screen, my presentation is about the production of enzymes and starter cultures from the Halal perspective. They are here. The main points in my presentation is here the microbial products, starter cultures, what are the starter cultures and application in food and also in other sectors, and the production, how can, about the production of the starter cultures, critical control points regarding the production of starter cultures, and we have also enzymes. And finally, we have also the issue of genetic modified organisms. I will try, so during 15 minutes to give you a general view or general idea about the starter cultures and enzymes. So first of all here, we have the microbial products. There are here the products which are produced by microorganisms such as yeast, mold, certain fermentation media or substrate in certain conditions. Many products are produced by using this technology, for example, enzymes, starter cultures, organic acids, for example, here citric acid, ascorbic acid, vitamins, some also important ingredients such as amino acids. So there are here starter cultures are used here in many fields, especially here in the production of some dairy products such as cheese, yogurt, ayran, and other products. So they can also be used also in other sectors, especially here the pharmaceutical products. So the main purpose of the usage of this microorganism is here to transform here the lactose to lactic acid. So there are here the main application of these starter cultures. So let's start here with the production of these starter cultures and also what are here the main critical points regarding halal. So the first step here, the preparation of the fermentation media or the substrate here. So the fermentation media must contain here the most important nutrients or the ingredients for these microorganisms. For example, here carbohydrates, minerals, vitamins, protein sources, for example. So the fermentation media must be, of course, sterilized to avoid any cross-contamination with other microorganisms. So the second step is here. Second step is here the fermentation. There are here different steps for the fermentation. Start here with the laboratory here, the seed fermenter, and till the main fermenter or the bioreactor. So many parameters must be controlled during this process. For example, here the pH value and C2, for example, and oxygen. So next step is here the downstream here. The microorganism must be harvested and freezed. Some additives here, for example, maltodextrin starter cultures, maltodextrin lactose, for example, that can be added here to in order to facilitate the freezing of these starter cultures. There are also some new methods here to preserve these starter cultures, for example here the freeze drying. So now what are the main critical points during these, the fermentation process or during the production of starter cultures? First of all, we have here the fermentation media. The fermentation media could contain critical materials or critical ingredients, questionable materials, for example here meat extract. Of course we have to know here the source of this meat. We have here for example some big tones, blood for example. I visited a company, a very famous company, produces starter cultures, and I found that they have here blood from fish. It was fish blood. I know fish is halal and everything from fish is halal, but it was here they used dried fish blood powder for specific microorganism. So as an auditor here, I took this information and I gave it to our Islamic scholars. There was a big discussion about this, and some of them they accepted it because it's here from fish, and some of them they said no, it's here dam masfuh, it's here blood, and blood is haram. And so there was a big discussion about this. But it was interesting to find that in this fermentation media you can find also some materials, so it's sometimes difficult to imagine that you can find it. So, for example, here the meat extract, I have already mentioned that we have to know the source of this meat, and if the animal, if this meat comes from halal animal, and what about the animal here slaughtered according to Islamic law. Gelatin, Dr. Ada Saber has already informed us about this gelatin, so pork gelatin can be also used as ingredient because the gelatin gives also here essential elements for the microorganism. We have also here some digested proteins, for example here enzymatic digest of casein. As you know, microorganisms can't digest here the big molecular proteins, so that we have to digest these proteins in order to, so for this case the microorganism can digest and use these proteins for the growth. So the question is here, how is protein digested, or so some enzymes can be used here for this process. For example here trypsin from pork, and me personally I have seen it also in one company. They said we don't have any meat products, we have only vegetable materials, but they used here in the production of the starter culture. They use digested soya protein, and we asked here how the company or the supplier